They're just talking about like what was leaked. And now like the whole debate is Drake a pedophile or did Kendrick beat his wife?
Kendrick won that because that's the be all end all pedophile. You know, what kind of strange information or something ugly can we pull up and destroy your life?
What did you fight with Floyd Mayweather about?
See when I went crazy on the Tim Pool guy, did you see that thing?
I've heard, yeah.
So,
or have you followed any of the P. Diddy stuff?
So I saw wild record executives doing wild stuff.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Bridges, episode 9.
Yeah.
We are joined today by the Rugged Man, who is from New York but lives in
Berlin, Germany. Yeah.
That's kind of wild.
I'm raising my babies there. Yeah.
That's crazy. So you grew up, though, in, like, New York?
Yeah, my whole life. Long Island, Suffolk County, and then moved around since... I haven't lived in the island since about 96. Then I just moved around to every borough. And then in 2016, I was living uptown for 12 years. And in 2016, my daughter was born. So I moved to Berlin, Germany to be close to her. And then 14 months later, my son. So... I got little German kids. My son talks like Schwarzenegger.
That's
like, Daddy,
awesome.
I love you a lot. And I love you too, boy. Come
What is okay? So my audience, although ordinarily they are, I'm not even gonna make the jokes. What do you do? My audience probably has no idea who you are.
Yeah.
What do you?
Oh, your audience doesn't know who I am. It's fine.
Not because we're like,
well,
I sit on the computer all day. I scream at people, play video games and stuff. Yeah. So introduce yourself. Like you're talking to people that have never seen a rap anything in their entire life.
I hate selling myself, but you know, I've been rapping since I'm 11 years old. I was one of the best on the planet for decades, you know, and I could destroy almost every rapper you listen to if you listen to any rap, especially the stuff that's getting played now. And I tour the world. I sell out shows all over the world still today. I'm still I could out-rap all your favorite rappers. I'm one of the best alive, so that is what it is. For 3 decades, and even 4 decades if you want to, you know, add when I was a little 11-year-old fat kid destroying kids on the block, you know, so I've been rapping a lot of years, you know. And I'm also a filmmaker. I'm working on a film called Suicide Disco. Got to get the plug in there, but filming that in the end of July, still raising funds for that because it's an independent film, yeah. There
was a small period of time, I don't know if you ever followed any of the... like the online stuff where rap gets uploaded. There was a small period of time it felt like where a lot of the battle rap stuff was starting to become popular on YouTube. Yeah. I think it was like a solid like 2 years, maybe like, I don't know, like maybe like 5, 6, 7 years ago. Did you follow any of that or did you participate in any of that?
Are you talking about like King of the Dot and all of that stuff or like battle rap?
Yeah.
Those are all different sports. Shout out to my boy Organic. He just invited me to the thing in Toronto actually. And it's a different sport, you know. I used to battle in the streets as a kid, you know, and then to get back in the day, you had to be a battle rapper to get a record deal. You had to battle. You had to be one of the best in the streets. And then the industry turned into the industry. The 90s, it was a lot of money, and then don't let your artist battle, you know, all of that stuff. So things changed. But yeah, battle rap, you know, when I first started seeing the organized battles, I didn't really like them that much because it was a lot of kids that didn't really have rhythm and didn't rap really good, but they had like, it was almost like stand-up comedy rap. I didn't like that, you know, like, well, I say a funny line and then, you know, but then like hardcore skill got involved and triple entendres and all this insanely next level shit that you're like, wow, this is really something good. And that's why when you listen to some of the new diss records that they go, oh, these diss records are incredible. It's like, if you really want to go for incredible diss records, I mean, the punchlines in some of these battles, if you put on some no name, not no names, but you know, they usually, you know, turn to us. My boy Pat Stay, rest in peace as well. You know, the level of bars is really, really insane in the battle rap world. I think better than the people that make records, you know, diss records, you know. Like Drake and Kendrick, I think battle rappers would have a field day with them easily.
It feels like, so I don't follow these scenes as much, but I guess it feels like when you listen to the diss tracks that go out today compared to like the battle rapping, it feels like the battle rap, there's like kind of an art and a craft to like crafting like really good lines. It feels like for the diss tracks, it's more just kind of like what information can you leak or reveal about the other person.
Yo, you're smart because that's exactly what I dislike about what it's almost like Gossip Girl.
Exactly, yeah.
Rap. Oh, you had a baby with this person and your wife cheated on you. Wah, wah, wah. You know, but like, you know, back in the day we used to diss you in your face, and it, like if you were lacking as an MC, you would just get obliterated, and we didn't need to know your wife had sex with this person or you hit somebody or this, that, you know, and let's pull out a blackface picture of you from 10 years ago, you know, like Yeah, it's a different, you know, that's how Pusha T beat Drake. He pulled out the blackface picture. Well, a little more than that, but that was the main thing. He used the image of Drake in blackface, and you know, and the thing that's not even about the skill of the MC, because you got teams and your buddies on there looking for shit too, and you find all this stuff, and I won the battle. Yeah, your team and everybody won the battle.
I made that joke because in the YouTube world, when we're fighting with people, it's really funny because as you become a large YouTuber, as soon as you start fighting with somebody, and I wondered if it's the same for rappers. I'm sure it is. As soon as that fight goes public, all sorts of random people are messaging you like, yo, did you know this guy did like this thing? Or like, I got logs of this guy doing this thing. And you got people feeding you ammo from all sides, and you're trying to factor what's going on. And then, to your point, it feels like when you talk about these big, like the big rap feuds and the diss tracks, nobody's actually talking about any of the bars. They're just talking about like what was leaked. Like, oh shit. And now like the whole debate is like, is Drake a pedophile? Or did Kendrick beat his wife? And it's like, okay, well, like you said, the gossip thing.
And Kendrick won that because that's the be all end all to beats a pedophile. You know, that's how they killed Socrates. Oh, they poisoned yourself. You're hurting the children. You know, right wing, get a book out of school. You're hurting the children. I mean, that's always the win. That's how you win. And you're a pedophile. And like, is there really proof? I don't know. I don't know Drake's life. I don't know nothing about it. But when you say that, even if it's not true, people go, don't hurt children. Yeah, nobody wants to hurt children, right? So you know, he's smart. He's smart. He's a smart guy, you know. So
do you then feel like, because you said you were doing rap battles at 11, like in the street and stuff. So like, what can you maybe outline for me? Like, what is the difference between what we're seeing with like Kendrick versus like what you grew up doing?
Well, that era was about rocking the stage the hardest. So like you would have an MC on the stage, and it would be like who's gonna out rap and out flow and out maneuver and get the crowd ridiculously wild. It was a different game, you know. I'm not saying theirs is worse. I hate being the old man yelling at the crowd, motherfucker, but that is what it was, you know. Like if you couldn't perform, you wasn't winning no battle. You could write fucking, you know, Dostoevsky rhymes. It don't matter what the fuck it is, but you ain't winning a battle if you can't perform and rhyme, and you're not a good performer and artist. So now it's more like you said, what kind of strange information or something ugly can we pull up and destroy your life? You know, it's internet rap. Basically, because you know that's what they do in the threads. You see, you know, go on Twitter and everyone's demolishing this person from something they heard about them, and you don't know if it's real, and it's all repeated, and it's all facts to everybody that wants to believe it, and that's how the battle is now too. You know, so. But a lot of people loved it. You know, so it wasn't for me. It's not my era. You know, I like the hip hop I do is almost like classic hip hop if it's on steroids. If it kept going in the direction I wanted to, like it's not. I don't do the throwback stuff to like it must sound like that. Like I do a beefed up. Let's keep it moving in that direction. So hip hop, well, not just hip hop, corporate rap music went a lot that direction. I keep it going that direction and make music that people love because I do that. You know, but it's not. You know, what do they call it? You know. On a mainstream level.
Commercially.
Because you're independent, right?
Yeah, but that's it too also. Like I don't have a campaign to you know, throw 100,000 on this video, throw, you know, best publicist in the world. But when I do drop something with no money, you know, it goes #1 in this country, #3 in that country, top 40 on the pop charts, and it's me doing nothing. You know, I just release it and it's word of mouth. And we do great, and then I get sold out tours all over the world off of just recording my shit and releasing it. So I mean, you know, everyone go, why isn't he bigger? But I did pretty damn good for what I'm working with, you know. So
when you talk about pushing rap the direction that, or hip hop and rap, you would have wanted to see it go versus where it kind of is right now, and more in like kind of the more commercial pop rap scene. What are like differences that you wish would exist? Like how would you wish it would have changed?
I was a fan of technical skill. And bars, you know, but with also making good records. I think that's a misconception too. People think that like if you don't make a mainstream record, that means you just don't know how to make records. You're like, no. There's great records being made in hip hop, you know, and they know how to make records, but they make records for hip hop culture, you know, where some people go, okay, we're gonna make a hip hop song, but we need to sell it to 15-year-old kids. We need to sell it to old people. We need to sell it to this. So we need to compete with Taylor Swift. We need, you know, so they're not making like the culture from where it came from type of hip hop. They want to do something that's more for, you know, everybody,
general
commercial,
population,
you know, and like Kiss for rock and roll, you know, Kiss made pop, you know, and it was better independent rock groups. But Kiss would do the, disco was getting hot. So I was made for loving you, baby. Their biggest song they ever made because they intertwined disco and rock. And, so that's kind of, a lot of hip hop does that. They want to, expand the base so they don't care about the hip hop culture base as much as like, how do we make, who's the hot artist of the week? Let's definitely do a song with them. Who's the hot personality of the week? Let's definitely incorporate them. It standard capitalistic, type of, stuff right there. It's pretty standard what you do. You do what you can to sell records rather than making culture. And that's same in film. It's same as everything, so.
Can I want to dig into this. I went to school for music. I played saxophone.
Oh, there you go.
So I think something that is challenging is when you're creating music, you can create it in a way that is authentic, like on one end of the spectrum, and then on the other end of the spectrum, you've got the complete total sellout, right?
Yeah.
So on one end, it's like, what do I think is the highest form of artistry and expresses myself the best? And on the other end, it's like, what will sell the absolute highest number of albums? And on one end, you've got what, I'm not gonna say you say this, but some people say you've got kind of like this soulless, it feels almost AI generated in terms of like, oh, here's the next pop song that is like being programmed into my brain. And then on the other end, I think it's interesting because people will look at the highly commercial end and they'll say, well, this sucks, we need to be more authentic. But then on the other end, coming from a jazz background, you've got a lot of older jazz guys who, and it's interesting because when people think jazz, you think of like hip stuff and clubs that used to be kind of like cutting edge and pushing the boundaries. And now jazz is very much like archaic and old. And when people try to push newer stuff for jazz, a lot of the old jazz guys are like, I don't like this doesn't sound good. How do you balance out, or how do you figure out in your mind, what is like a good combination of like, I want this to be authentic and cool, like in terms of representing my original culture, what I like the artistry I wanted to represent, while also being like, but I need to make like new stuff that's like pushing forward and isn't just like, listen to this, it would have sounded good if I played it in 1992, why don't you like it now?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think you gotta just stay true to yourself, because sometimes you get old school artists that go like, I'm gonna get on a hip beat and the new school
like
stuff.
Like Dre's new album, or like
I hear it,
stuff like this,
but it usually sounds terrible. And if because the young generation that's making that sound, they grew up on it. That it's like they're intertwined with it, they live it. And now you're an old guy trying to do like, let me live it with the kids because I want to be, make some hot shit, and it's gonna be garbage. And I've seen a lot of my legends do that. They try to do something, and you're like, come on. And then when they go and say, you know what, you could tell when they make an authentic record, you're like, wow, that's and their fans come back to it, and it gets them booked for shows again. When they make the crossover thing that doesn't cross over because it's terrible, I don't know. They don't hurt their legacy. See, that's the thing too. They say in America, they say you're only as good as your last record, and in Europe, they say you're as good as your greatest record, So like, say you made 10 years of whack music, and if you made great classic music, that's documented in stone. And same with film. If you made these masterpiece films, now you're making some movies that are beneath you. You're still the same person who made the great art. So, I respect all my legends, even the ones that are making trash now, so.
Okay, that's fair. The greatest record, definitely. I don't know how many people would know Michael Jackson's last record or Pink Floyd's last record,
True,
but everybody knows Thriller or The Wall or Dark Side of the Moon. So
yep. That's a good thing. I stole that quote from the Marx Brothers, I think. That's where I didn't steal it. I was just quoting it.
Sure. Well, you were stealing it, but now you said you're quoting it, so now it's no longer being stolen. So yeah.
Like people are like, what? I don't know who RA is, but what the is a Marx brother? This man talking about shit? No, I'm just kidding.
Are there new styles of like rap and hip hop that's coming out that you really like, that you feel like the experiment is working really well?
Well, let me tell you something. It's funny because you go to Instagram, right? And people sponsor their own shit. You see these ads, and these tremendous fucking rappers are popping up, and I give them oh, thank you for following me. But like, there's like really like, I'm like, holy, who the fuck is this? And it's an ad. Give them a follow. I've been seeing a lot of like, and I always said that too, because I think about 15 years ago, Nas did an album, Hip Hop is Dead, and so once somebody famous said Hip Hop's dead, then everyone, Hip Hop is dead, and people moving on with that narrative. And I would say, fucking bullshit. Hip hop is dead. Hip hop will never be dead. Yeah, you get the commercialized garbage going on, but there's going to be kids. And now you could go to any borough in any country, and there's like murderous, insanely dope rappers, kids. a million whack ones. So I think the whack ones, people go, that's what hip hop is now. It's like, nah, did you see these 2-3 kids that'll murder anybody? They're 15, 18 years old. Like, don't act like the shit is dead just because you see the jungle of whackness over there, you know? So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So like, how do you feel about like drill? Because I know drill has been really big in like kind of people's political concerns, because it's internet driven. Seems like it's a lot of young guys getting popular on the internet. It's much more like grassroots, but it's also tends to be like really grungy
and violent. And
violent.
I love violent music. You know, I hate they're gonna hurt each other over violence and music. Shut the fuck up. They've been saying that from the history of all art. It's gonna make everyone kill each other. You know, come shut the fuck up. It's music, man. Like, if there wasn't crimes in the street, you know, they're not committing crimes. You're not like, you know, the same music exists all over the planet Earth. They're not killing each other over there or over here. It's like, maybe it's American problems, you know? So I love violent music. I love ignorant music. I love violent film. You know, I come out, you know, when I was a kid, we were coming out of that era with the, you know, it's before your times, but the Tipper Gore and what it's called, the Mothers Against, you know, Twisted Sister and Dee Snider and all of them would, and John Denver and Frank Zappa would have to go to the courts to defend being able to say foul shit and like, oh, they're destroying our children again, you know, the same shit. So, and the drill beats, there's some drill beats I like. The only thing that I don't love about drill is because I come from an older school where, you know, technique and lyrical, you know, tier, we like it high. So sometimes when you hear some drill stuff, it's a little too dumbed down and simple for me, but I hear the music and I'm like, that beat is crazy, and I say, okay, I see what they're doing. They're doing a little familiarized part that's easy to say, so when you're in the club or in your car, you're just saying some shit, so I understand it. But the thing I don't like is the verse part, when they get to the verse and it's like really very little skill level, and you go, come on guys. But what can you say? You can't cry about it, you know. So
when it crosses into like real life stuff, when people start shooting each other, or like, I know I don't think it happens as much in the mainstream anymore, but even for the Drake stuff, there was like a shooting at his house. I don't know if that was confirmed to be related to the back and forth or not.
Yeah, but that happens with tweets too. Somebody says something on Twitter and then they're shooting up somebody's house. It wasn't because of the style of music that was made. You know, it's like you could do, and you know, Dr. Dre, when he beat up Sister D, she was the host of Pump It Up. And she had Dre and Ice Cube, NWA and Ice Cube, and then Dre found her and punched her face off and kicked her ass in the bathroom. It's not the music that did it. It's somebody was a fucking asshole, and this young woman had a TV show. So you don't blame. The music isn't forcing anybody. I see people go, oh, you know, in this year, 1930s or something, they put certain teleporters in the music. Well, I don't know the terms, but you know what I'm talking about? You ever heard that conspiracy?
Like subliminal messaging?
Not subliminal messaging. It's like a sonic...
some kind of frequency that makes people...
that makes people negative and turn... Like I seen... Oh, my God. Who was it? The guy... Who's the Malibu's Most Wanted guy or something? What's that actor's name? The comedian kid? He was on a show talking about, like, look at Doja Cat, right? She did a video where she dressed up like a fake, she had makeup effects and did a devil thing, and the whole, see, it's turning them satanic, the world is coming to the end. It's like, this is the 1950s? You motherfuckers, 1950s, satanic panic, 1980s? Like, you really fell for that shit, you know? So, yeah, that's the world we live in, you know? Like, they get, fear, fear, fear. So I'm not afraid of music, you know? So, or art, you know? So...
What was the transition like from doing stuff in the street and just like rapping casually or at clubs or whatever versus like actually trying to build, I guess, records or signing deals?
I was a little kid, and I started rapping around 11, and then by the time I was 13, I was better than everybody in the neighborhood for some reason. So the older kids would take me, it was a freaking nature thing, you know? So the older kids would take me all over to the boroughs to battle kids in the street, and I was a little white. Nobody was rapping. No little white kids was rapping. We're talking the 80s now. So they take me to the street corners, and I'd be rapping. The older kids go to house parties. The fucking ceilings are getting shot up, you know? And then around 14 years old, they took me in the studio, and Long Island had this time where all the greatest rap started coming out of it. I don't know what we were drinking in the water, but we had Biz Markie, we had Rakim, we had Public Enemy, we had De La Soul. It was like the Bomb Squad. It was like all the EPMD, all the greatest stuff was coming around my neighbor. Like, what the fuck? Like, we started dominating the whole thing. So when I was in the studio, there'd be JVC Force, all these great MCs, and I was a little kid, and they'd bring me around there. I'd have my boom box with my little demo tape, and I started recording demos. And then by the time I was early teens, probably 16, I started getting record deal offers. And then 17, I got 2 big offers, and I didn't take them. And then by the time
wait, why didn't you take them?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because I was a weird kid. I was like, yo, f this, snakes. You know, I was.
Were you ever like, were you like ever hurting for money, or were you like thinking?
I was hurting for money. Yes, I was. You know, my dad was a broke Vietnam veteran who lived off the monthly check, and like, you know, that we had the 2 retarded kids at home. You know, my sister couldn't walk or talk. My brother couldn't walk or talk. He was blind, and all of this. And my dad's struggling. We had a, you know, we had a wild, but. It wasn't enough money to make me sign my soul. I know how cheesy that sounds now, but you got to understand, in the late 80s, this was like probably 91 I'm talking now, 92 maybe, but in the late 80s, there was a whole movement of the 5% Nation. The black kids were all on the 5% Nation, and you know, they're going to put the codes on you and all of this stuff, and I was reading a lot of 5% Nation pamphlets, and my boys all know what's up, and so they was, an industry will take your soul, you know. And then late, I know you guys are like, this guy's fucked up, but late around, before I hit 18, I started getting another record deal and another record deal and another record deal. So I had 9 deals on the table when I was 18, and they were sending limousines to the house and flying me back and forth. And my father said, yo, keep holding out, you know, and we held out, and they gave me like one of the biggest deals. So
before you got to any of your big deals, though, right? So because you have a lot of stuff going on at home.
Yeah.
How do your parents feel about you going out just to rap? Like, were they ever like, you need to cut this shit out, get a fucking job? Like, why don't you go to school? Like, what the fuck? Like,
my father was the greatest dude ever. There's an interview of him on the internet, and he says, hey, I thought doo-wop was coming back. I said, yo, kid, you know, you're spending all your money in this, because I was working at the supermarket. I was a carny for 4 summers. I was working at the carnivals. And he said, I see the kid go work and take all his money and put it into the studio. And he said, Dad, I need a producer. You know, how much the producer cost, son? $2,000, son. Then you got to do it without a producer. You know, so we had no help on that end. So he saw me spend. He said, son, you got a fat white ass. Hip hop's a fad. What are you doing? So, and then the guy said, you'll see the interview. The guy said, you know, did it convince you? He said, yeah, the check convinced me. Came home with Jive Records with a big fucking check. I said, son, I'm a believer. I'm glad I was wrong, you know. So that's the kind of guy my dad was. He was a great man. Yeah.
Not to one-to-one it, but it's funny because there are so many crossovers between that and like the early like YouTuber life. So you talk about like record labels.
No, do that.
Back in the early YouTube scene, you had these, they were called MCNs, and then prior to that, a thing called machinima, where when you started making money on YouTube, like if somebody was offering you a $400 check to work, you're like, holy shit, I'm making money on YouTube videos. And then these companies would come in and you would sell your soul to them, and they would own you, and all these early contracts were horrible. Yeah. But it was a lot of the same decision making, like, well, do I want to sell to these people and actually make real money? And that real money is going to be a pittance compared to what they're scraping off you. And then even what you said, there's a lot of parents that look at their kids like, why are you wasting your time on this shit? Why are you wasting time on this shit? Why are you wasting time on this shit? And then the first real check comes in and like, I support you fully, and I love what you're doing, and like, keep it up. And
but
do you think when you come up as a kid, there's a lot of stuff that had to happen culturally and like geospatially? Like you had to, like if you wanted to make a song as a kid, your dad said, you know, you can't afford a producer or whatever, you have to like go to somebody's house. They're going to take you to a place with equipment. I can do all this in like my room now. Do you think something's being lost by not having all that?
Well, yeah, of course. You go, the 2-inch reel too, the warmth of the tape. It took me 5 years, you know, my old, you know, yelling at the cloud shit. You know, 5 years when digital came out, I was fucking pissed off. You know, I seen Master P. He's the first one because he was richer. He had this thing where he's like, yeah, all the files go into this computer. I'm like, you need a fucking 2-inch reel. That sounds like shit. Nah, you know, but he knew what he was doing before. You know, he Master P. He was in, I forgot if we were in Cali or where were they at? Where did Bush? New Orleans, I think area. forgot where I was, but I was literally in the studio with Master P. He was on Priority. We were label mates at the time, and he's the first person I ever seen doing Pro Tools. And I thought, come on, man, now you're cheapening the music even fucking more. But he knew better than me, he knew. And then for 5 years, I'm like, no, we got to go to the studio with a 2-inch. We need that warm feeling. We need the warm feeling. So no, and also like you're saying too, now if you do a posse cut, you get 5 great rappers. And you send it to everybody's email. They all go.
Yeah, you don't even have to be in the same room. Yeah.
Yeah.
You think something's being lost there?
Of course, there's something being lost. But on the flip side, see, of course. But on the flip side, if you go to my last album, I got a song with MOP and Ice-T and Chino XL and Chris Rivers and Onyx and myself, and it was like Vinny Paz, and we weren't all in the studio. The guy could never, like, let's all make a phone call and get all of us to Ice-T, get with MOP the same day, So, we made a great song because of the new technology. Also, there was a thing where, the producers, the bass players, everyone would be in the studio together. You'd work on the track, you'd work on the song, you'd work on the mix, and you wouldn't have time to go back, so you had to make sure everything was right, everything was mixed. You knew, and before you went to the studio, you memorized your rhyme in the mirror all day to make sure when you get there, you didn't take fucking 10 hours to record it and get it right and rewrite it and all of this shit. You had to go there and nail it, because back then, say studio was $100 an hour.
You're writing, yeah.
And a 2-inch reel only fit 2 songs on it. A big heavy reel, so you had your $150 2-inch reel, the $100 an hour studio, and you're a kid. So you had to make sure everything, so things work better for that. But then there's all these other tricks. Now I would never go back to it because I'm used to the new school where, that hook's really good. I don't have to say it again, fly it in at the end of the song. Oh, you know what? I just listened to that song. There's 8 bars in there where I could do better. Let me rewrite it and just do it there and clip it in or whatever. So there's benefits to filmmaking too. Digital cameras. Oh, you got to shoot on film. You got to shoot on film. You got to shoot on film. And to me, it still looks better. But now you got the fanciest lens on the planet on a digital camera. You got the lighting kits. They figured it out. So you got to move with technology sometimes.
For a minor recording question, because you brought up earlier the importance of like performance to you, and when rappers are putting together some of their albums today, like there are songs like the comping is like so heavy, the lines are like so overlaid, like you could never rap this song at a performance and have it sound good because it's not possible. When you're writing for your stuff, are you keeping in mind like, can I rap this on stage in a way that sounds good, or what? Yeah, how does that?
Well, you got to come to one of my live shows, because that's the one thing they think I'm like. I hate bragging like that, but I started to show off like I'm the best.
You got a documentary, whatever you want to go do your shit. But you're your own biggest hype man. What the fuck? Yeah.
But my lungs, I guess because I don't smoke, I don't do nothing to my lungs, so I have 20-year-old kids and my lungs just destroy all of them, so they'll be on stage winded after 3 shows. I'm doing 80 minutes jumping, mosh pit, punching people in the face, boom, boom, and not missing a fucking bar, that's one of my talents of it is the lung capacity, because I do some songs, I can do those fast flows. I was kind of a bit of a pioneer of those. Now they're kind of, you hear everybody does them, but like some of those fast flows I did were kind of revolutionary for some of their time, but I do a lot of them sometimes, I do slow flows too, obviously. I do have any kind of flow, but so when you do the fast flows, you gotta, there's literally like 14 bars in a row where you're not breathing, so you got to go on the stage, and you got to get it. And any song that you hear on my album, if you come to my live show, it will sound just as good or better. Like there's no back me up.
Do you think that's from your background of like having to hit it immediately?
No, that it is another. It's a different era because we didn't have the internet either. So it's the same thing. Like performers, I know this is performers from my day, but it's true. Hip hop performers from my day were better. It's because on the regular. I'm not saying everyone ever is better, but like there was way more great performers as a scale, because you had to be a great performer. Because it probably is the same in the rock world. I don't know because it's not my world, but when you went to the party. And record execs in the place, you had to be the best that night to get a deal, to get anyone to give a fuck about you. There was no internet to say, hey, look at my new video that I did in my house and couldn't really do it in real life. So you had
SoundClouds to check out. Yeah,
you had to dominate. Your performance had to dominate, and every MC knew that. So, and also it was a competitive sport at the time too. So if you weren't good, they would take you off the stage. They really would. They'd physically grab you the fuck off the stage and remove you. So at that time, you had to, so a lot of people from my era came up on, like Biz Markie passed away, rest in peace. People don't always credit him as a great because, he wasn't the most lyrical, but he was a fucking showman machine. Like, he was just a machine. He could rap, dance, sing, DJ, beatbox, perform, destroy it, rock the house. I seen him, Jay-Z, Busta Rhymes, all of them on stage one night. Jay came out, Busta ate Jay. And I'm not saying lyrically, I'm saying got the crowd hype. And and Busta usually dominated the stage, but then Biz came on and just ate the whole building. You can't go on. You can't let Biz go on because he was, in his prime. But those kind of performers. And before us, because hip hop came from, it wasn't about making records. It really wasn't. It was about who's the best at the party. When if you talk to any of the OGs, when records started getting made, they'd kind of be like, what's that? Like making records, that's that fake shit. This is the real shit here. So that was where the back in the day shit came from. So the performing was always number one. MC Sha Rock, the first female MC of all time, amazing performer. She used to eat the dudes up. She came and performed at my show when I was in maybe Florida. Was it Texas or Atlanta, Florida? I forgot what the state I was in. When you do a tour, I make a joke. Sometimes I think I got that Joe Biden, Bruce Willis shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna be like, what the fuck city was I in? If I was a politician, I forget so much shit.
Yeah.
Have you ever thanked the wrong city while you were on stage?
You know what? I must have, but I remember I was touring with some of the Wu-Tang guys, and a lot of times they'd be like, much love, Germany. And I'm like, dude, we're in fucking Czech Republic, man. Much love, But most of us try our best. We're like, what's the city today? What's the city today? What's this? And before you go out, because if you show love to the city, it's you get a big response from that. So you want to try to get it to them. Sometimes I'll be whispering to my team, what city are we in? And they'll be like, oh, okay, what's up?
Yeah. I know a bunch of your music is inspired. You have one song that's written about your dad specifically.
I have a few about my dad, but I think the one you're talking about is Uncommon Valor. Yeah,
yes.
They gave me a quotable of the decade, rhyme of the year, song of the month. That was a big one. And it was when, I was a wild guy. And so during my wild days, my reputation wasn't the best. So they gave me the accolades at the peak of my insanity. So I was like, wow, people saying nice things about me? All right. So, but that was a true story because there's a group called the Jedi Mind Tricks. Vinny Paz is the other MC. And he said, let's write a song about Vietnam. Because in my videos, I used to wear like my dad's medals and a Vietnam vet hat. And people go, he's not a Vietnam vet. Fuck him. Shut the fuck up. Are we allowed to curse on here?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I started writing some gung-ho, Rambo type of Vietnam rhyme. And then the producer changed the beat. And I said, yeah, you know what? I just write my dad's story. So it was a true story. They sent them on enemy territory, behind enemy lines, and then helicopter got shot down. He was like highly decorated too, man. His gun shot 4,000 bullets a minute, so took a lot of lives, man. And I said, Daddy, how many people you think you killed? He said, I didn't take lives. I saved lives. That's how I look at it. But he had a high body count, and they train you to be a killer when you're a kid. He's 17 years old in the army in that time. But what happened? He ended up in a full body cast for 10 months. Came home, and then
what was that from? The full body cast?
Oh, from that. I didn't finish the thing. Yeah. One of the missions, they shot the pilot in the head, and the tailor rode, and the helicopter spun out and crashed. He lost 6 pints of blood, and was unconscious for 6 days in enemy territory. Almost died, and then the soldiers found him and got him to I forgot where they flew him to. But yeah, so he came home, and had 2 kids, and that's when the Agent Orange came in, and my sister was the one that couldn't walk or talk, and then they said, oh, she's a 1 in a million, and my brother couldn't walk or talk, and he was blind. And then my nephew just died at 6 months old. So the chemical that our government sprays on its own people, and the Vietnamese people too. Right. You got to see some of the stuff the Vietnamese people out there hit with Agent Orange is crazy. So yeah, that was what the song was about. That was a long answer to yeah. So people, when you tell a story that they're unfamiliar with and it's honest, I think people really could gravitate, because I think I wrote better rhymes than that one. But it's one that people related to, so it got high accolades, And plus, you also know that is even with film, if it's a dramatic film, that's the thing that's going to get the high accolades over a comedic, fun, wild thing, even if it's the same skill involved, So yeah.
So your dad, in many ways, is like a major inspiration. Would you say you talk almost exclusively warmly about him? So.
He's the greatest man I ever knew in my life. Yeah, my daddy. Yeah, he was the best guy I ever knew, and charismatic and funny and smart and street and he was that's life though, so yeah, so daddy's gone, but a lot of years later, and my daughter was born the anniversary of his death a few years later, so that was a blessing. So
she was born on the day that your dad passed, same date,
January 7th.
Later,
and it's funny because when Renee, the mother of my kids, was pregnant, she said, yo, the baby was due on the 22nd. And I said, she's going to be born on the 7th. I already know it. And she's like, stop saying that. I said, I'll stop saying it to you. But she's like, you're going to be disappointed. I said, no, I won't be disappointed. I just already know it. My daddy, And the 7th, she's like, oh, my water broke. I was like, I told you. I don't know much in life, but that one I knew. I said, I know it already. I already know it,
How did he support you through the beginning of your career? Because you had 2 siblings that ended up passing away. Your sister died a little bit later in her 20s,
My sister died 2001. My brother died. No. My brother died 2001, a couple months after 9/11. And, no. He died 3 weeks before 9/11, that's what it was, yeah. And my sister died 2008, 2 years before my dad died, 2010, yeah. And my nephew died in 19, holy shit, I'm terrible at this. He died in 91, because my sister was, she was the healthy one, and she thought, the baby was 6 months old, and they thought, it got this thing called Winninger-Hoffman syndrome, it's just going to get weaker and weaker and die. So that's what happened to her kid, yeah. So, and that destroyed her fucking. She's my second favorite besides my children. Oh, mommy. My mommy's still alive. I shouldn't say that, but she's my big sister's my second favorite person on earth, I think, besides my children. And then mommy's there too. So I don't want to be mean to my mother. So okay. Yeah. I said, mommy. She said, oh, okay. Is this some Norman Bates shit? No. What the fuck is going on here?
There's some Oedipus stuff going on or whatever. Yeah. How did so your dad was obviously influential. Did he support you? I know he told you to get a job, then you got the paycheck and he was like, yeah, go for it. How did he come alongside you for a large portion of that beginning of your kind of career explosion?
He became the biggest cheerleader, publicist. He just, everything was, my son, my son, did you know what my son did? Yeah. And he got to meet a lot of, boxers and famous people. And he's like, oh, my son introduced me to, my son. He I made a song about that called Daddy's Angel, but I had a argument with Floyd Mayweather years ago, and he was playing the fucking argument for the nurses, hey, yeah, my son, that's Floyd Mayweather. He's, yeah. I was like, Dad, come on, leave. So he was very proud father, so yeah.
That makes sense. I'm super curious now. What did you fight with Floyd Mayweather about?
No, that was an ignorant argument. It was at the time when he wasn't fighting the top 5 in his weight class, and the thing is, Floyd is a boxer, and he made this thing where you fight the biggest reward with the least risk, and that's smart. But at the time, I was a boxing fan, and you go, fight the motherfucker that's number 1, it's your weight class. Would you fight this guy?
Yeah.
But he figured it out. That's why he left with, the greatest fighters of all time don't have undefeated records, because they fucking fought everybody at the peak of their career at the right time, So, but he figured it out, how to, maneuver and become one of the richest guys ever in boxing. So he was smarter than me. I just came from the stance of a boxing fan that wants to see you fight the scariest guy in the world, so yeah. And he called because somebody asked me, it was like this. We were on a radio show, Shade 45 or something, and somebody said, hey, what do you think about Mayweather? I said, yeah, he's got a lot of talent, but he's not fighting the top guys at this weight class. And then he called in angry. That's how it started. So then we started arguing, and he wouldn't hang up, and we're arguing for like 20 minutes, so yeah.
What was his argument?
Like, he's telling me he is, and he's the best, and I got hate in my blood, and so it's
okay.
Yes.
I feel like it's a common thing because it happened in like happened with like McGregor, like in the UFC world too, and everything, where people want to see certain fights, but once you've gotten enough money, you don't want to get injured, you don't want to like whatever, you just want to get your payday basically.
Yeah, because look at McGregor, he's a multi-millionaire. He didn't got to fight nobody anymore. And now that I get older, you start understanding it a little more. At that time, you want it, because again, in the 80s, you had, Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, Sugar Ray Leonard, and all these guys, Larry Holmes, and so you want everybody to fight it. And Bernard Hopkins from this era was fighting anybody. If he was a 3-1 underdog, he'd fight you. It didn't matter. But so Floyd, got his thing. But Conor McGregor doesn't have to fight. But what I was saying, now that I got older, and I have friends that are fighters, and you have conversations with them, and their speech isn't good. They're slurring their words, and they're talking slower, and their thinking isn't right. So you go, you know what? They sacrificed that shit, but at the same time, they were getting paid for it. It's the same thing as a soldier. Like a soldier goes in, oh, I know what I'm getting into. You put your name on that fucking paper. So there's two sides to that argument as well. Yeah.
How'd you transition from coming up in the kind of like street rap, performance rap, battle rap to wanting to make records, right? Going from thinking they're lame to, okay, well, maybe I'll go into a studio and start writing and recording for full records. Well,
it's what I said before. I seen like everybody in the neighborhood killing it, and I see Public Enemies in that studio. Rakim, who's considered the greatest of the whole world, he's from Wine Dance over there. Public Enemies from Roosevelt. EPMD's right in Charlie Murata's studio over there near, was it in Comac? So they were all around and all making records and all changing history and changing the sound of music, So
did you, for people in your scene, was the desire from the majority of your group to adapt and start making records, or were a lot of people like, well, this is dumb, like, let's just keep doing what we're doing? No,
well, we're talking, I was a kid and, so it started turning, the guys I was talking about that wasn't about records, they're the generation before me. Okay. That's the Grandmaster Caz, the Melly Mel's, but Melly Mel made the biggest records, but later on. But Mo D, those guys kind of came originally from, Cold Crush Brothers and oh Jesus Christ, Force MDs. They were battling in the parks, So the generation after that, Rakim and all of them were making records. Okay. So then I was like, hey, I want to be like Rakim. That's my idol. I want to be like the Juice Crew. I want to be like Big Daddy Kane. I want them to know who I am. I want to be part of this. MC Shan. That was my, So
was like the mental shift then in like the community going from like the records are here to sell your soul to like records are a way to like shape the music?
Well, see here, the era I'm talking about, it was still about the culture, like, and because then after that you got the whole pro-black movement, Poor Righteous Teachers like Kim Shabazz, BDP, Public Enemy, and so many others, and but around the time of MC Hammer, Vanilla Ice, that kind of stuff. Then they say, oh, Hammer's selling 10 million. Vanilla Ice is selling 10 million. So then you had people that were like, I'll do can't really rap as good, but I'll do this. So you had people trying to kind of combine the two. And at one point it was like, yeah, you had people that like pop culture, like people like New Kids on the Block, but they didn't like, the people who like New Kids on the Block didn't like Big Daddy Kane and Rakim and stuff. There was two separate audiences. Now I think all the audiences have to be combined into one to make this, because now rap is a corporate pop culture that's the biggest generated moneymaker on the planet, so it's a different game, So
how similar was the scene when people started to also give me from my mind, like in terms of years? Are you talking about like right now, like early '90s when this is like when the records and everything in the era they were?
Yeah, MC Hammer and Ice came out in 1990, okay. and Ice Hammer dominated the pop charts, the #1 album in America for, don't quote me exactly, but I think his album was #1 for like 36 weeks. It was something ridiculous. Don't quote me exactly. I don't want to put fake news out there, but it was like dominated week after week, number one, and it just stayed there. And then after that, Vanilla Ice dominated for like 20 something weeks. So like these big pop albums dominated, the two of them alone, Hammer and Ice, dominated the pop chart for like a year and a half or a year or something. It was crazy. And so I think it was close to that time. Is you know, somebody could probably name something a year or so earlier, but that was the basic mainstream big shift, you know, where a lot of people that never listened to rap heard MC Hammer or Vanilla Ice, and you know. And
that's when you went into record recording as well?
No, I was before. I was before that. I wasn't. I didn't get record deals before but I was in studios before that. Yeah.
What was the like in terms of like personalities? Was it similar in it, like when people just started recording records? Was it similar as it like I've listened to like a lot of like Kanye's journey and stuff, or like, you know, like Dre finding a producer for Eminem and stuff. Did you have, when you went to the studio, the idea of like, I really want to get this guy on my track for a feature. I need this producer because he makes awesome beats. I need, like, was that kind of mentality existing back then? Or was it like, we got beats from these like keyboards that everybody uses and anybody can have this guy or whatever? Like, yeah, what was it?
Well, I'll tell you, I had my producer Niles from Long Island, and we were doing most of our stuff together. And then when I got the big deal, they said, hey, why don't you go in with Q-Tip from Tribe Called Quest? Why don't you go in with, see if, who's popping? Pete Rock will get you a track. So it started happening where the record label would say that. And I let Buck Wild produce one, and Eric Sermon, who was Long Island EPMD, and he was making some of the greatest records on the planet at the time. So I think and Trackmasters was my boys. Trackmasters ended up making the biggest hits, so many big hits, but this is before they blew up. So I had three producers do some random songs, but the majority of the rest of the album was Niles, my local guy. You know, he was I thought he was just as talented as them. But then, did
you have to fight for that in your deal? Like, did the company want to be like, you need to use our people, or screw that?
They fought with me about everything, and that's what kind of made me a madman and why I got thrown out the labels. And we used to be ignorant and crazy and fucking violent and weird. So, you know, you grow up. So it was, you fought about everything. And then I was banned from the fucking building and all of this shit. So I tried my best. But, you know, you're 18 years old and they, you know, every record label wants you and you get your ego swells up. You're like, I know what the fuck y'all go fake mother. And then there's like 45-year-old lawyers who are telling me, turn that snare down. Come on, change it. Like, get the fuck out of here. You know, so, and then you got to learn to, don't curse out the 45-year-old lawyer. Give him a smile. You know, it took me fucking 3 decades to learn that trick. You know, rather than get the fuck out of my session. Because you got to let them think they're part of the project. You can't just, because they don't know what they're talking about, tell them they don't know what they're talking about. That's if you're in bed with a corporation, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Back then, when you're signing deals as an 18-year-old, do you have a representation, or and our guys are throwing like huge deals at you, and
I got which she stole from me. It's such a gross business, but she stole a publishing check from me. She added like a $10,000 fee, and I told her, no, I'm not going to accept that. I'll do the deal somewhere else if you can charge me $10,000 for that. And she's like, oh, okay, let's do the deal. And she told me she would, gave me the word. And then when I picked up my check from the label, there was money. I'm like, oh, this might be just a third of the money or something because the check is short and this and that. And then they said, no, we gave her this much and $10,000. I'm like, this bitch. So I said, cancel the checks. I flipped out, you know. That was the day I signed, I got robbed from my lawyer, you know. So, but yeah, no. So I had a couple lawyers and rest in peace, Reggie Osei, Combat Jack. Do you know who he was? He was a podcaster. Probably, I don't know how long. You're not that long, right? He was a podcaster back in the day. He was one of the first ones. I never heard of a podcast, but Combat Jack, he was my lawyer for a little bit too. He started putting stories out there, good ones though, funny ones. But like he said, when I was broke, I'd bring girls to the office, and he'd be like, "I'm married," and they'd be naked on the table with doing things to themselves, and you know, they, voluntarily. I didn't force nobody nothing, but yeah.
That's crazy.
You so. What was the length of time from the first record you started producing versus you like going on tour?
Well, what happened when because I got a bad reputation because I lost my tempo a few times when I was young, and then And I was obnoxious. I'd say fucked up shit wherever I went, and I was angry because now I'm in the industry and snakes and devils, all So, when I left Jive, then it was a small industry. So they said, you ain't. Def Jam wanted to sign me again, and everybody was coming back to me, and they had the meetings and said, hey, listen. This guy's this much money in the hole. He's a loose cannon. He doesn't even have a record out, and he's already costing this much. And these are the relationships. So they put out the don't mess with this guy type of thing, and that happened for a bit. And then all of a sudden, Europe started calling like, "Yo, we love you." I say, "Everybody hates me. What do you mean? Like I'm a bum loser because you're a kid and there's no internet. You don't know the real world. The people listening to your stuff in the world. You don't know what the hell's going on. You just know because what happens is when you're a kid and you lose everything, then everybody turns on you. You know all of that. So everybody in the neighborhood that said I was the best, all of a sudden, that guy's a piece of shit. He's a loser. He's a loser. And when you're 19, 20 now and you got no money, the label's all fucked up. You say, "Oh, I'm a fucking bum loser." And then I started getting the calls from other countries saying, "No, we love you, really." And then then Raucus came out, and Mos Def and Talib before they were, "Hey, the legendary RA." I'm like, I'm a fucking legend. I'm a bum loser. And then everybody, "Hey, the legend, me." So you don't know before the internet, you couldn't read what people were actually saying about you. And I was going through a dark depression and had weapons and thinking about doing bad things and all of this stuff. I was young. And
what's the timeline on? So you start the records, you have your young man's anger.
Yeah, exactly.
You blow up, do some shit. We don't have to dig too much into that, but I'm guessing. But and then you get the calls from Europe.
18, and then my guess was 21 is when I was in my darkest place, and then I'm guessing I was getting back on my feet about 24 years old, and then Raucus Records was this. See, the game moves fast because now 5 years goes by, and all the old wrinkly lawyer motherfuckers that knew nothing about music. Then all of a sudden, Raucus Records came and said, "Hey, we love you."
That's the European brand.
No, Raucus was who owned it? Rupert Murdoch's son. So this crazy right-wing guy's son owned Raucus Records, and it was like a pro-black label with Talib and Mos Def, but supposedly the son was a lefty, not a righty like his dad. Who the knows? But that's where the money came from. But the people who ran it, Jared, who owns Up Rocks now and stuff like that, they loved hip hop, so they got in touch with me through a guy named my boy. I told you I got that my close friend. Sasha Jenkins. He's a director. He directed a bunch of shit if you Google Sasha Jenkins. But he brought me up to Raucus, and he said, "Oh, we'd love to work with you." Yeah, we'd love to. So I started doing some really no budget songs for them, out of people's houses, and then that started building the buzz, and then Priority Records was offering me record deals, and it started coming back because the old wrinkly motherfucker was gone, and now the young generation that loves hip hop was coming. "Hey, we love you. Yeah, you're our guy." And they weren't afraid of the stories anymore. So, and then Raucus asked me to perform in the Village, and I went crazy and had my shirt off. I was all fat and crazy and stomping people. And then the Village Voice had a big picture of me with my shirt off, and people like, "Oh, Ray the Rugged Man." But a lot of people like, "Wait, he's a big fat white guy?" Like a lot of people, because it was before the internet, so people just, and they hear a bassy voice, they say, "Oh, there's a black man." Everybody thought Ray the Rugged Man was a black guy, and then they see this Village Voice, big fat. They're like, "Wait, that's not R. Where the fuck is Ray the Rugged Man?" No, that's him, the fat white kid. So.
Do you think the shock value added to your infamy, or took away?
Yeah, the shock value did. That's what hurt me too, because people forget, but like I said, when we were coming off the Tipper Gore era, where don't say this, don't say that, rap gravitated towards doing the opposite of what society told them to do at that time, So you started getting artists talking really up foul, horrible shit, and you'd have Redman and Big L and Cool G Rap saying really extreme, hardcore lyrics. So you would try to compete with what's the grossest, nastiest shit I could say, and it was a fun time. I don't think we could get away with it now, but at the time I loved it. So yeah.
When you reapproached music, you get contacted by Europe. You had your big blowout. when you went back, were you conscious of, I kind of like got a little bit unhinged, you know, 4 or 5, 6 years ago, or did you come back and okay?
No, it took me years. And the other thing too is, like I said, sometimes I don't walk around with a big entourage and stuff, so I was always prepared for fight. Any venue I went to, I might have to fight everybody. Who the knows? And that took me years too. Like if somebody's in the crowd throws a bottle or whatever the fuck, you're fighting everybody. Or gives you the finger, like, yo, disrespect me, you know. And now you have to learn, you know, because now I do hundreds of shows nonstop. So, and I tell all the young artists this, because, you know, people lose cannons when they're young, you know. I say, listen, if somebody's in the crowd and they disrespect you, you could eat that. Just eat it. They're in the crowd. They want to get your attention. Even if you punch them in the head, they'll probably have that story for 20 years. You did them a favor. Like, oh, I got punched in the face by so-and-so, you know, like, so somebody's going to start shit with you. You're going to be at your merch table. Somebody's girlfriend is going to be like, fuck you. You know, somebody's boyfriend's going to be like, fuck you, because the girlfriend looked at you or wanted a picture. Whatever the fuck it is, somebody's going to be disrespectful. And through the years, you know, New York guy, oh, don't disrespect me. Don't disrespect me. You got to swallow your ego if you're going to do 100 shows a year. Or the flip side is if you can afford to have a big entourage so you don't interact with anybody, so you don't have to deal with any of the disrespect. But if you're going to be an underground artist that travels, maybe yourself, maybe a DJ, maybe whatever, you got to either eat it or fight, you know? So I spent the first 20 years fighting, you know? And then they go, nah. Let a drunk fat asshole say, so you know, you knock him the fuck out. Let him say it. Okay. Sell merch to this guy and this girl while this fat asshole's having his way or whatever. And you got to learn a little of that, you know, and that was with age. You understand, like, no, you want to come. And then what happens too, if you fight somebody in a venue, that venue's not going to have you back because they don't remember that the guy started some shit with you. They remember the rapper punched somebody in the fucking venue or this and that. So you got to behave on the road. Yeah.
How do you deal with the public perception and the public pressure relating to all of that?
I have none. Zero, because they destroyed me. I was lucky because they did the whole destroy me thing when I was a kid. And so then I was like, because here's the thing is when they destroy you, you start thinking like, oh, maybe I am terrible. Maybe I'm not talented. Maybe I don't have it. And you start second guessing everything the fuck you're doing, you know? And I went through that young, which was a blessing because then I was like, wait, like, no, I'm better than that guy on the radio. Oh, I'm better than that guy. I could do this. I am pretty good. So then when you're in the studio, just you come out your shell and you realize, no, just do what the fuck you do. And people f with it. And if they don't fuck with it, just do what you do. And I never have no pressure because I'm not a big sponsored corporate guy. You know, like if I say the wrong thing on this podcast, no corporation's gonna come take away his shoe deal. So I'm not gonna stop touring off for whatever the fuck comes out of it, you know. So I'm pretty good, you know. So
you feel like you had good feedback from friends, like mentor type people, or at least people in industry that would guide you, or did you have to figure it all out?
Everybody in my circle was trash.
Okay.
I had one mentor in life. I love him to death, Frank Henenlotter. He's a filmmaker, and he's my idol, and he was like an older guy that was a filmmaker, and I was like in love with his movies. So, but he was one of the smartest people. He's still alive, Frank Henenlotter, but he was one of the smartest people I knew. So I'd hit up him for advice sometimes, and he had good advice, but not even good advice because he was grungy and grimy. His films were unapologetic. So almost after getting off the phone with my mentor, I'd be more unapologetic. Like, let's do what the fuck I want, you know. So maybe his advice wasn't that good either. So
I got a general life question because again, everything you're saying maps on completely to like the YouTuber, influencer, whatever the side.
That's all good.
Do you think that when I think of myself as like a 18, 19, 20-year-old, or in my early streaming days, I've been doing this for about 15 years now, one of the strongest thoughts I have is that regardless of what I know now, there's nothing you could have said to me at 19, 20, 21 where I would have listened to you. Even if I knew it was myself traveling into the past, I would think that like you became a sellout, you're full of shit, like fuck you, like I'll do it better, whatever. Do you think that as you grow and mature, this thought has fucked with me so long, do you think you're actually maturing and getting wiser and like learning from your experiences? Or do you think that it's just like when you're a 20-year-old man, you're just a fucking idiot, and then as you get older, you mellow the fuck out like everybody said you would? I don't mean you in the specific, in the general sense. People are like, yeah, you'll grow the fuck up, you'll mellow out. And as a 22-year-old, I'm like, fuck you, you don't know shit. Yeah. And then when I'm like 30, 35, I'm like, ah, shit, why the fuck but I say that, or like, yeah. Or I listen to some kids talk that are younger and they're 22 and all I can hear is like, you're a 22-year-old man, like you're going to grow the out of this. Like, yeah. Do you think there's a learning process? Do you think it's just like an age thing, or I'm
well, I think if you life kicks your ass enough, you learn your lessons. If you but some people never learn their lessons.
Because I was going to say, some people don't. That's
until they're dead.
Yeah.
Like, you look at 60, 70-year-old dumb as brick. Like, you have not learned nothing from living a little bit. Nah,
or there are people that crash out, and you'll find them 5 or 10 years later, and they're still living in the day they crashed out, and that's all they remember. They never moved on from it. They've never grown or learned or anything. And I'm like,
yeah. You know what's funny is like when she hit me up, because I was like, wait, because I had a bad reputation. Did you ever see when I went crazy on the Tim Pool guy? Did you see that thing?
I've heard. Yeah.
So nobody's looking at you like, get that guy.
I didn't say they were.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you put somebody else in there, they're looking at you funny. You're good. You go to the airport, they're not pulling you over because they
no. That's bullshit.
They pull you over?
Yes.
Because you look like what? Because you
look like
motherfucker.
What
you look like?
I get randomly flagged every time I go to the airport. See,
because what reason?
If I know.
Because you look like what?
If I know, dude.
You really heard.
Because I get fucking every single time I go, and you are a racist dude who says I couldn't possibly understand every time I go to the airport, I'm randomly screened.
Yeah.
I think it's the
every time. Every time. I go to the UK, they put 4 S's.
What are you screaming for?
I'm screaming because
what?
When
you're hurt that you're a white boy?
I'm hurt because you're a racist,
there you go.
and you have this arrogance and elitism that you know better than everybody, that you're the white savior, that you got to be in the struggle for the poor brown people.
No,
and then every fucking time. No, bro, no, listen to what I have to say. When I say something like, when I'm being polite, when I'm being polite to you.
Lower your voice first.
When I'm being polite to you.
Like a motherfucking human.
When I'm being polite to you. And then I say, I deal with this problem, and then you laugh at me, dude.
Yeah, I laugh sometimes.
You're a racist.
No, it's not racist.
Yes, it is,
we're talking about systematic racism in America. And then you go, my struggle is this, to discredit the struggle of the black man and the black woman.
I literally just said they have it worse than I do. I literally just said they have it worse than I do.
That was the facade.
That
was the facade to not take away
facade?
From the yes, it was like
admitting outright, saying straight up, bro.
And your Jesse Smollett hoax. You made up this whole story about white supremacists coming to your house and saying, "Oh, the mixed couple," and throwing racist pamphlets at you, and you made up a whole Jesse Smollett thing.
I've been
noticing, and that's to take away from the struggle of the black man.
It seems like we're blending between
you're a racist prick. Here's my hour-long documentary about the black struggle in Ferguson.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. Oh great, $100,000 budget. Yeah. James Baldwin interviews with people on the ground to talk about what they've been through, and you have the nerve to come up to me and tell me my experiences don't matter when I'm fighting the fight.
Stop screaming, bitch! Stop screaming. First of all, talk to me like because I'm not that guy.
Yeah, you are. You are. You actually are, dude. Yeah. You are that guy.
I'm not that guy to fucking scream at, bitch. You want to get fucked up? Huh?
All right.
What the fuck you screaming at, bitch?
Let's calm down.
You gotta cut it, man.
You think you can?
I'm not that guy. You don't disrespect me, bitch.
What did you do to me? Did you disrespect me?
Nah, you start raising your voice to me like I'm some sucker.
Did you laugh at me?
Bitch. Yeah, laugh.
Did you disrespect me? I was nice to you, bro. I was being nice.
You start raising your voice to me like I'm your son, bitch.
You raised your voice to me? Bro, I said I respected you.
You wouldn't shut the
I appreciated
fuck up with that
you.
Raising your voice shit.
I stopped when you told me to. You said lower your voice, so I lowered my voice.
I was like, wait, are they trying to get me to do clicks or something? Like, why are they randomly hitting me up? And I was like, what if that was fucking random? And I've been watching a couple of your clips, right? And I seen one where I left a comment like, yo, why the fuck is this guy in this debate? And it was you I was talking about. Okay. And I was like, oh, maybe somebody read that comment and is like trying to set me up or some shit. Like, well, I wonder what the fuck it is, So yeah, but nah, it's a peaceful night. It could, and if you wanted to come at me and ask me, I don't give a fuck either. But I'm just saying.
For the people at home, walk us through what was the Tim Pool thing? How did you get that invite? What was it for? Like, why did that argument?
I should have brought. I just brought. I don't know why I brought that one up, but no, that was just. There's
a lot for the people in my audience.
Are you familiar with Luke Radowski?
Yes.
We Are Change. So. He came and interviewed me in Berlin, and then there was what's it, Anarchapulco? You ever heard of that thing? It was
think so.
They made a documentary about it on HBO. Somebody got killed there, and it was like a big Anarchy Festival. Ron Paul was there, and McAfee, you know, the guy that died in prison, McAfee, John McAfee, is that his name?
John McAfee. I know you're talking about.
Yeah. So
very crazy guy. Yeah.
So they were all there, and supposedly they had another rap, and they called me like, look, we'll give you, you know, I don't know if it was $5 or $10,000 if you just come and do 15 minutes at Anarcho Polko. So he got me a paid gig for that. And I showed up, and it was weird. They had like armed guards for me. I'm like, oh, I'm all right. I don't need fucking. And they're like, no, you don't understand. There's no cops here. There's no nothing. You need these. So they follow me around with machine guns. I go to get breakfast. I try to, like a movie, try to like walk away from, try to escape them. And I'd be sitting there eating breakfast, and then they'd be sitting there with their, like, yo. So that was the show there. And that was Luke hooked me up with a payday off of that. And then he hit me up like, yo, Tim Pool, this guy, he's number 11 podcast in the world. You should come on it. And like your thing, I didn't do the research. I don't dig too deep. But then when I got there that day, they said, oh, can you watch the latest episode of his thing before you come on? I said, yeah, sure, whatever. But then so I started going down the Tim Pool thing, and I seen him shouting out Derek Chauvin, like, you know, propping him up like he was in the right, and then Ahmaud Arbery, the murder of Ahmaud Arbery in the street. He was taking the crackers who were killing them in the street side of it. And I was like, yo, like, so when I got on the show, I said, well, you know, we should talk about that. But I still thought these were friends because I was friends with Luke. I wasn't friends, but I hung out with him. He was, you know, as far as I knew, you know. So I thought they were honest people, you know. I didn't know. After I watch his clips now, I'm like, oh, he just lies about whatever. Okay, I get it now. But if I was there, I would have known what I was in for. But then they chopped the piece up and put it on like he's going motherfucker, and they cut that part out and start the when I lost my temper. They started right when he's like, well, the thing, you know, and I was like, yo, calm down, and then I lost my cool. Which honestly, I was upset that I lost my cool because, like I said, it's supposed to be my old man days, and I got kids at home. And also, when that was going on in Germany, we were in court. I was trying to get more time than my wife with the kids and all of this stuff. So I'm like, oh, now I can just act like a fucking asshole on the internet. And so I was like, I just felt so fucking like, damn. But when so I said sorry about that. I shouldn't have did that like afterwards. But when I watched it back, I said, no, I didn't the guy saying, motherfucker to my face. And I watched my reaction. I said, hey. And I told him like 3 times, like, dude, hey.
It's pretty wild. It's a pretty wild
clip. Hey, put your tone down, son. You know, like, don't talk to me like that. You know, so then, I know he's like, and a little whiny bitch voice. And I flipped out, you know. So, and then when I stood up, he was like, and I was like, oh, I felt like a bully now. I'm like, like if he would have got up to be a man and faced it, I said, I'll fuck you up. If you stand up to fight me, okay, so let's go. But he was just there, like, and I said, oh man, what the fuck did you do? And then, and I knew the comment. I said, oh fuck, man. And then the mother of my kids, oh, you went crazy. I said, oh. Fuck. You know, like it's everything I didn't want, you know. So yeah.
How did you feel about, like, because there was a bit of a media tour? Because I know you were on like the Young Turks. I know the Majority Report covered it as well. Because I know Tim Pool took the video down, so a lot of people didn't have context. And luckily they recorded it.
Why did he take it down? He's free speech, and he's like, oh, he said cracker too many times. I was like, really? That's the free speech? You can't say cracker? And it said it was a racist term. I said, no, I didn't call whites are all crackers. I said the crackers that killed Ahmaud Arbery. I was talking about like 3 crackers who fucking murdered a black man in the street. So it is what it is, you know. So
how did you feel though about like the other shows bringing you on to kind of tour it? Like, did that add to the issue for you, or did it help?
No, it was fun. It was fun.
Resolve it?
But that, you know what that is. You're in this world, so you see what it is. So when you do something, so now the lefties, you know, so Majority Report and
you're the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah,
you just went and bullied fucking Tim Pool. Come and talk to me about how much of a
so you, my man, I think you guys don't get along. I think you guys debated. I didn't see the debates, but my man from Canada, I seen you yelling at him on Twitter.
Which one? Steven Crowder?
No, not
Jordan
a righty,
Peterson?
not a lefty. My boy, who you hate.
There's so many people I hate.
My boy, the Serfs.
Oh, Lance.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Surfs hit me up.
Speaking of crack, no, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. And I don't know what your guys' issue is. I just he came out to the show and with his wife. He seems like a sweet guy. I don't know, but you guys, everybody fights each other in that world. So I don't know who hates who. Even Cenk, when he hit me up, he's like, "Look, I know you did our show years back, but like I don't know if you're on the side that hates me now or this and that. Like everybody is like who hates who or who turned on what." And I'm like, I don't give a who anybody is. I'll talk to you. Let's, if you're good to me, I'm good to you.
Have you ever done No Jumper? Have you speaking to, do you know Adam 22 and Lena? Or
no, the only reason I know them is because they covered the thing when I attacked or jumped up on the pool thing, So but I never did No Jumper. Yeah. And then I think I heard later he's the guy. He has a wife that other guy, so everyone's mad at him about
she's
that.
She's a porn star. So,
yeah. But we're in the era where everybody's afraid of promiscuous humans. It's like we're going back to the 50s. Like sex is bad. We're in that era right now. It's so weird.
It is weird and funny. And now, I've gotten a little older, so I'm at this stage in my life where I can start to see certain trends loop. I'll hear the most mindfucky to me was seeing somebody on Twitter talk about how jobs today aren't like what they used to be. If you go back 15, 20 years, you could work at a fast food place and afford like a full apartment and everything. It's like, hold on. I worked at McDonald's for $5.15 an hour when I was 17 years old. You could not afford no full, and this was in Nebraska. You're not affording a full apartment and all that shit. So, and then you see like a lot of the same talking points. You talk about, like the Tipper Gore and the music stuff and the violence. And in my era, because I played computer games and shit, for me it was like Jack Thompson was a lawyer and they talked about how video games are going to be violent and kill everybody. And that never happened, I guess. And but then the talking points come back. It's the same thing over and over again.
They were doing that in the 80s with D&D and video games as well. It was heavy metal, rap music, video games, D&D. And before that, the 40s, what was it? Comic books. Oh, the comic books, the kids, and detective novels before that. Like, oh, there's crime and death in the detective novels. People are going to do these killings, like it's always what it is. And when I was a kid, I was a big horror movie fan. So obviously...
Well, you're still a horror movie fan,
yeah,
right?
Of course. But I'm saying as a little child, obviously, Maniac. Did you ever hear the movie Maniac with Joe Spinell? And they had a big poster up in Times Square, and it's a guy with a bloody head and a bloody knife, and some people said it might be a hard on in his pants, but it wasn't a big hard on, but there was something supposedly stiff in there, so that didn't do too well for the a lot of times in that era the feminists and the right wing would take the same side, and that was the 70s too, because the feminist porn is bad, and then the right wing like, oh, you're against God, and then meanwhile like. And that's not all feminists. Some feminists don't know freedom. I want to do what I want with my body. I can who I want, free love. So feminists are always split on things like that.
You see the same waves today because now you can find these like traditionally conservative men that are talking about how promiscuity is horrible, and then you've got like these like weird red pill guys who think that women are on OnlyFans abusing men and it's not fair, and then you've got like these women who are like, yeah, we need to be anti-porn because it's So the allegiances or the alliances that people form are very.
OnlyFans is the greatest of all time. Anybody who's scared of OnlyFans, because here's the thing is, think about it. Women would be in strip clubs with guys drooling on them, touching them, at risk of getting stalked afterwards. The stalking is still always going to be, somebody could trap that. But I mean, like in the parking lot, come and get you, attack you. Porn, there's and prostitution. There, especially unregulated prostitution. In Europe, they got it sewed up. They're getting tested. Everybody's clean. Boom, boom. But street prostitution. Girls are doing drugs and guys are having sex.
While the girls are doing drugs.
Yeah.
Fucked up. Yeah.
Oh, give me another 500. I'll take the condom off. And now everybody's raw sexing it. And AIDS is an epidemic. Boom, boom. OnlyFans. It's a fucking person sitting in their clean room. Oh, do you want me to put this in me? Yeah, here. Tip me fucking $200. It's the safest shit in the planet Earth, and motherfuckers is making money and eating, and like, what? Oh my God, a naked body. Oh, shame. What the fuck you afraid of some naked bodies for? So the whole scare of OnlyFans was hilarious. I said that's like the most PG, even though it's not PG, but not P. What's underneath X? Whatever.
NC-17.
Yeah, maybe it's an NC-17 clean, safe as you could fucking get. You know, let a man or a woman look at what the fuck they want if they're adult. You know, so
I'm so curious your thoughts on this. Are you familiar at all like with the red pill manosphere? Much like at all? Have you seen much of that stuff?
Yeah, I did, and it's a fucking joke. They're such clowns.
Yeah,
such clowns. Like the whole thing I seen where they're like the quality. She can't get a quality man, and it was like, and you're all losers. What's a quality man? You or you or you? You're quality man. You're a bum motherfucker who a decent woman would never be with. So what quality man do you speak of?
Yeah.
You know? So,
that's the same shit that it used to be, because on the online communities, like we would be a bunch of nerds like going over pictures of like Megan Fox, and the joke is that like your fucking elbows are too pointy and I would never mess with this girl.
She had a slow thumb or something.
Yeah,
right?
like this, yeah.
Thing,
and then you get the same, you step into some of these online communities and it's like, yeah, there are no good like traditional women who are willing to do X, Y, Z and be a full-time housewife. And it's like, bro, you can't even afford a job that pays just for you. How are you going to afford a whole ass woman and family who they're not working either? Like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
I love promiscuous women. I love them. My whole life I love them. So who am I? Oh, don't be promiscuous. You know, I hope my son is with promiscuous women that know what they're doing and treat him really well when he's a grown up, you know, like have fun in life. Life is short. You're going to be dead. So why not have beautiful sex, amazing sex, have fun? Everybody's having fun. Like, let's make a rule and lock you into a marriage where you're fucking miserable till you're dead, you know? Like, some marriages work. I'm not saying everyone, but how many marriages people got to deal with the other person judging them and being ugly to them, and then you're dead. It's like, go have some sex. Go have some fun. Live your fucking life. Stop crying about other people's sex life, you fucking idiots. And the manosphere. Do
you, okay, so you were born. Your family has.
Yes, I was.
You were born.
Once upon a time.
I thought you were like a smart guy. No.
Family has a lot of you're because of Agent Orange and the birth defects and everything. And then now you're a father. Obviously, you have children. Yeah. Growing up and then thinking of that situation, what is it like in your mind? Like, are you getting like, is there like any level of like guilt, or when you look around, you're like, damn, like you're relatively healthy, at least you seem to be, and your songs, everything. Does that, do you even factor that in?
There's no guilt of it. You know, my sister Deanne, she was the one that lived to 25. Almost, I say 26 because she was basically almost 26. But she was, and my dad used to say, you know, he was, I lost my faith. You know, I'm not saying I can't ever get it back, but we grew up Protestant and Christian, and he raised me on the Bible stories, and you know, I prayed my whole life every day, 3 times. God, forgive me. And it was torturous as a kid. You jerk off and you're like, oh, I'm going to hell. God, I did this, thought about a girl, you know, and you know. So I don't know why I went into that from what you asked me. Okay, so he said God put these children in the right place, you know, surrounded by love, and you know, he meant it. That's the one thing about my dad. As wild and crazy as he was in the streets, he was like the dopest human, and he was like, he would be with my sister every day, and just there's so much love. So I don't know, that doesn't answer your question, but it was my sister Diddy was awesome, and she was happy all the fucking time. She laughed every day of her life. She was a happy person. My brother Max, on the other hand, he wasn't, because he lived 10 years, but he was blind. So we didn't know he was blind because his eyes worked, but the connection from the brain to the eyes didn't work. So it looked like he could see. Mm-hmm. So my sister Diddy, you go, hey, Diddy, you shake her up, and she's laughing hysterical and this and that. And my brother Max would be like 2, and I'd be like, Max, and he'd be like, ah! I'm like, oh shit, Max, okay? Or you were Max, whatever you did, he'd cry, because we didn't realize it'd be out of nowhere, like jarring. You'd scare the shit out of him, you know? So Max lived a harder life. He laughed too, but not as much as Deanne, you know? But no guilt, I don't know why. And then Vincent, like I said, my sister's baby was born healthy. It was a teen pregnancy, and she said, oh, there's something wrong with my son. And the doc, it ain't. Mothers have that fear. You're good. And she said, no, I'm telling you. She went back a month later, like, he's not moving his hands right. I'm telling you. And the doc, go home. He's a healthy boy. 3 months in, they said, oh, you're right. He has Wernicke-Hoffman syndrome. He's going to be dead soon. So he lived 3 more months. But that was the hardest shit, because you know, he stopped breathing and then turned blue, and then he'd wake up again and still be alive. And here's the thing too, when my sister Didi was born, who lived 26 years, they said she lived 9 days. So we didn't believe Vincent was going to die, because, you know, they say, oh, Didi, they even said, oh, you could keep her at the hospital because you can't take her home, she's going to be dead. And then they took her home. She lived 26 years. So we'll go, Vincent, you know, I'm thinking he's going to live. My family, my sister knew. But the rest of us thought, he'll be fine. But then he kept dying and coming back to life. And in 6 months, his heart just stopped. He died. So.
Did you ever have like worries relating to your children?
Of course, 1,000%.
I feel like that would destroy my mind.
Yeah, it was the worst thing ever. And I drove Renee, the mother of my kids, I drove her crazy because I would have like, when the baby coughed in the fucking sleep, oh, what the fuck? Yo, she's dying. And she'd be like, yo, you can't do that. Are you fucking crazy? I'm like, she's like, she coughed. Let the baby sleep. And I was doing that for 6 months. Mm-hmm. It was really disgusting. It was, you know, it wasn't on purpose, but it was really terrible for her. And I was to have every night, I think my baby's dying. And even when she was being born, the heartbeat was stopping and going up. And I said, oh, shit, she's going to die the day that my daddy died. That's what this is. It's not going to be the best day of my life. It's going to be the worst day ever. And then she lived, so, you know. And she's the greatest kid in the world, Ella, Bella. And my son, John. Greatest kids in the fucking world. Blessings. So.
They live in Germany full time?
Yeah, I want them to come to California for a year. I'm trying to talk their mother into it. You know, we're not together right now. You know, she's German. You know, Germans, and she's a school teacher, so she's got her shit together. She's clean, proper, and I'm a messy fucking psychopath. So it's not all her fault, you know. I can't blame her for that one. we tried so many times, but psycho dad is home. You know, I'm trying my best. You know, but the kids love me, and you know.
Do they speak English fluently and everything?
Yeah. My like I said, my son has the Schwarzenegger accent, but my daughter watches TikTok and YouTube, and she kind of got that TikTok girl like, "Hi, Dad, what are you doing?" You know, like Dad, there's this new. I don't know. She always has like pranks and shit she wants to do on us because of TikTok or whatever. Can I try this prank on Mom? I guess so. You know. So
that's cute.
What was your dad saying to you when you were in your crazy phase from like 18 to 24? Did he have advice for you? Was he trying to guide you at all, or did he just let you?
No, my dad's one thing as a father he wasn't great at, because he kind of understood it, because you know he was before the army, he was stealing cars, he was in the streets, he was right, you know. So my little brother Johnny O, I love you, boy, Johnny Omar. He even was wilder than me, you know, and I'd be like, Dad, tell him to stop doing that.
Okay.
He'd be drunk, smashing into 6 cars and running people over and bomb threats at the airport. And I'd be like, Dad, you got to talk. Hey, it's John. I can't, you know, I was a wild kid too, you know. So I was like, Dad, you know, so yeah. So he always, even when I was in my wild days, he's like, yeah. I remember one time, the record label said, look, he destroyed the studio. We got to get him a therapist or a psychiatrist or whatever. And they said they'll pay for it. And I said, Dad, you know, they said, you know, I need to see that. And my dad said, why are they going to waste money? Go get yourself one of them classy prostitutes they got you before. That's better than a therapist. You could talk to the prostitute. You don't need a therapist. Thanks, Dad, you know. He was a wild one, you know.
Yeah. Sounds like the wild one kind of tracks along the family line a little bit then.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? He was the same thing, though. He calmed down. He calmed down, too. Yeah, you know, the last 20 years of his life, he was calm, cool. He was in his place. But when I was a kid, you know, the guns under the pillows, handcuff. I'd be in the street, the cops handcuffing him, taking him away. Go home, son. All right. You know, so, but then, you know, the last 20 years of his life, just calm, cool, smart, you know, life, you know. So.
Are you buckling up then for your son to get older? Do you think the family line of crazy? Or do you think the German's going to offset it?
He's already wild and crazy, in a good way. See, my daughter's the class president and the popular girl in school, all this stuff, and my son is unpopular and wild and big imagination and you know. I don't know if it's OCD or whatever, but he gets obsessive over like everything and like knows, like if he likes something, he'll know, like he watches boxing with me. So now he wants to talk boxing more than me. Like every time, like, why did Sonny Liston fight Jersey Joe Walt with, he knows like every boxer in history in like in a month, like he does all of that stuff. So
my son got into even dumb shit like dinosaurs. This kid will be like 5.5 years old, and I'll be like, "That's a T-Rex, right, Nathan?" You'd be like, "Actually, that's a Velociraptor or whatever." And I'm like, Yeah. All right, go talk to your mom about this. Yeah.
My son got all of that. Yeah, he's a great. He's just funny and smart. And girls develop faster mentally. They do everything faster. Well, at least my experience, So my daughter walked faster, talked faster, figured things out, how not to fall off of shit faster. My boy will fall off shit and then break his face, and then the next day fall off the same shit again. Girls don't do that, or at least, like I said, in my experience. But so at first, my daughter was 14 months older. She did everything fast. So I was like, wait, is my son slow or something? Like, Ella's so fast. But now he hit the age where I'm like, nah, he's smart. He's a smart kid. He's like a real smart kid, and he'll analyze things and ask me questions, and I'm like, where the hell are you even thinking of that? So I'm pleasantly surprised how bright the kid turned out. Got lucky. But he's a loose cannon like the rest of us. Yes, he is a Thorburn. Yeah.
When you started doing, I guess, like world tour stuff, and then obviously you've got now family in Germany, are there big differences that you see between how people appreciate music in other countries versus in the United States? Or is it all just like basically one world people to you? Or what does that feel like?
Well, the thing is, when you're an underground artist, at least in underground hip hop, there's appreciation for it worldwide. I don't know how long that's going to last, but yeah, it doesn't matter the country. We have fan bases in every single country. So yeah, I guess in America, no, but even that, we tour through America. If you're in the right city and got the right promoters, we'll get a lot of people out, But yeah, worldwide, we're doing good right now. So I don't know how to really answer that. I think I understand what you're saying because yeah, there is a difference. But no, you know what though? Not so much for me because my last album I dropped during COVID times. It did well on the pop charts. So and the videos got a few million views here and there, shit like that, and people watching it. So people still have their eyes on my new stuff now, And a lot of times kids will come to the shows. They're 15, 14, 18. You're like, oh, the younger kids are coming out too. Okay. A lot of my peers that had big records back in the 90s, but haven't had much still going on after that, they're still able to book some shows in other countries where I think in the States they might not be able to book as good a tour. Yeah. So
in your mind, are you thinking of how to maybe not reinvent yourself, but kind of like stay relevant or produce stuff that you think that people will still like? Do you have like a goal in mind where you're like, or I guess like a mark where you're like, if I produce a record and it doesn't do this, or I can't get this, I'm just going to like stop making music, or I'm going to move out of like this arena? Or
well, right now, I stopped making music for the time being because I'm writing, producing, directing the film I'm working on, and we're shooting at the end of July, and it's a 10-day shoot in Norway, and then it's a 25-day shoot in Belgium in October. So like, and I don't have a big budget, so I literally have to wear like 47 hats. So I'm, every day. So it's really like I don't have time to sit there and write songs right now. So until the movie's done. Then, I've been mixing some songs that I got like 15 songs in a can. I could put an album out, but I don't want to. I want to record a couple more songs for it, I think, and I have to do that after we're filming because I don't have time to. It's like a full-time job right now. Unless somebody watching wants to come on for free and help me out because our budget's fucked up right now.
What did you budget for this film you're making?
Well, I want $450,000. Mm-hmm. Maybe 500,000 and a couple 100,000 in deferred fees, where we could pay the crew because everyone's being underpaid because it's such a long shoot so, I wanted to keep deferred fees, 250,000 in deferred fees. So, hey, the DP gets another 4,000 in points. This person gets another 6,000 in points. The actor gets 3,000 in points. And then the cash budget, I wanted about 450, So, and right now we're about 270. So.
What's the film about?
Suicide Disco. Well,
is it a horror?
Here's the problem, though. The one thing I could write my ass off. The one thing I'm terrible at is doing a pitch. So, and whenever we have dinner with friends and people are like, what's the movie about? I start telling them, and like somebody that read the script's like, no. And then I'm like, wow, that sounds like a good ass movie, But I'm terrible at pitching, so I don't really want to do that. I'm going to put a trailer up when we shoot in July. I'm going to get that footage knocked out right away to put out a trailer. And then hopefully raise some more money for the October shoot as well, But it's a redemption story, but it's really about an accident, and everybody just this man ruined everybody's life, you know, a lot of death, and it was all his fault, you know, and he's not a bad person, but he did something irresponsible and everybody. So it's about his relationship with some of the people, and it goes to the most demented, twisted, crazy places you could imagine, you know. That's not a good pitch, but I'll let you read the script if you want, you know.
Okay. Then what do you, for working on here, is this, you're filming a documentary, or somebody's making a documentary on you, or?
No,
for
this
stuff
is my boy David. He directed a couple of the videos I did, and I told him he should come to Belgium to work on the doc for the behind the scenes stuff, but he has a family too, so he's not sure if he could get. But Long Jean Silva, shout out to Long Jean Silva. She was a porn star in the 70s, and she was an amputee, and she used to fuck people with her stump, you know, in the ass and the pussy, guys, girls, it didn't matter.
Well, what stump? Hold on.
Was it
she was an
arm
amputee?
Or leg? Well, you got 4 limbs.
This.
Okay, there you go. Okay, just checking.
And
visualize it better. Yeah. Okay.
And the legendary Long Jean Silva, she's coming out to the shoot. She's going to be the stump stunt. So anytime the amputee from the car accident in the script, you see that leg, it's going to be Long Jean Silva. I said he needs to come out there and just document that alone, you know. So
that's amazing.
Yeah. You guys try to, just last question on that. Do you guys try to raise money on like, are you doing like GoFundMe or anything?
I did what was it? What did we do? Indiegogo? Yo, and the campaign ended like 3 weeks ago, and they keep saying we're trying to get the money to your account. I'm like, here's my bank account. I go to Chase, and they still haven't got me the money. I'm like, motherfuckers, pay me. But but we did that. But it didn't do that good, because you have to be like every day about it, you know, this, that, and I was doing tours, I was doing this, so we raised 10 grand extra off of it. But what happened was, when I put the advertisement for the Indiegogo, I started getting independent investors, like my man Frank over there. His brother Pat said, I'll give you 25K. My other man, I have a secret investor. He said, yo, come see me, I got you 25K. Another person, 20 grand. So we didn't raise it off the GoFundMe, or the Indiegogo, but we raised it from independent people that was emailing me. And then shout out to Angry Mike's Hot Sauce. There's a guy, Angry Mike, who started a hot sauce company. I didn't know him personally, but he hit us up, and he's throwing a nice chunk. I don't know if he wants me to reveal how much, but if we have the hot sauce, you know, product placement, I said, listen, we could put the stickers up in the sauce, but if you give us a little more, we'll have an interaction when she's at the dinner doing her spaghetti. She'll be using Angry Mike sauce. So he's sending us some money for putting his hot sauce in the movie. So that's what we're working on right now. You know, just raising the funds. You know, and we got a great cast, great crew, great everybody. Cameron Bright, you know, he was in X-Men and Twilight. He's one of the stars, and Elka Cherie, she's like a really great actress in Belgium. She's really fucking special. And I got this really creepy, crazy character. And this guy, Stephen Jeffries, he was in Fright Night, 976 Evil. He plays this really, it's a fucked up character. But yeah, so, you know, we're trying, we're doing it, you know.
Yeah. So. Have you done other movies in the past, or is this like your first one?
I produced a movie. Frank Henenlotter, like I said, my mentor, he hadn't made a film in years, and I said, you got to make a movie. And then a couple studios said, hey, a script we wrote together. He said, we'll give you $1.2 million to shoot this. So he was happy. And then they came back and said, look, we're going to do 750, but we want you to take the creatures out, and we're going to do the psychological error, the psychological edge. And he was like, that, I just want to make a monster movie. If you want to take my creatures out, that's the only reason I want to make the fucking movie. I said, let's do it. I think we could work with it. He didn't want to do it. So I said, okay, let's raise something small. And that film was just to let my mentor do his own vision. It's not the way I would have did it, but yeah. You know, he loves the film, you know, so yeah.
What got you into, it feels like quite a jump to go from like a rap career and an independent to now doing movies as well. Where did that come in?
Well, like my son, how he obsesses over things. When I was a kid, I obsessed over movies a lot. Like I was a psycho, you know, obsessed over everything, you know, seen every movie imaginable. And then when I started rapping around 11, it started kind of going towards that. But then I was incorporating the lyrics with the boxing that I love and the movies I love, and it just kind of meshed, and I remained a fan, and I'm somewhat of a film historian. Like if I talk to any filmmaker, they oh wow, he knows a lot. Three things I know about, you know, hip hop culture and music, boxing and film. You know,
super random. Do you know a YouTuber called Your Movie Sucks?
think I heard of him, but I don't know why I heard of him.
Okay, his name is Adam. He's a big movie guy too. He was on here. It would have been interesting.
I watch a lot of those YouTube to see what people are saying about certain movies.
Yep.
So it sounds familiar, but I can't remember from what he. I don't remember the clip he made that I would have remembered. But yeah.
Sure. Okay, this is an important question. I'm judging you harshly on this. What was your favorite horror like series, like or IP, I guess? Yeah.
Oh, series, a horror series,
I don't want to give you examples. So I don't poison your mind, but like a
franchise, like a brand?
Yeah, like a franchise.
Yeah. I love the original Psycho. I know it's the cliche answer, and I love Psycho 3. Psycho 2, they say, is the better one, but Psycho better than 3. But 3 is the great one. It's a slasher, fun movie. It got Hitchcock's humor, and 2 is more like a well-crafted, nice movie. I love this. I love, but then I love, crazy trash too. I love the Romero. Romero's not trash, taking that back. But Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. Yeah. I love Basket Case. Frank Canelada, like I said, Basket Case 1 and 2, and he hates 3, but I love 3. But there's so many franchise wise. What am I forgetting?
Did you ever watch any of the campy horror stuff?
I watched all of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, he just Larry Cohen's films. That's a live trilogy. Those were great too. But I like obscure stuff too. I like Mario Bava. Well, it's not obscure, the iconic, but to the modern audience, I think Mario Bava films, Blood and Black Lace. But those weren't franchise films. So. What
is that franchise that has like the worms that go through the ground? There's like 3 of them. Tremors.
Yeah. That was that was. I think 1990 or 91, so it was right. I hated 90s horror. I came it's like what we were talking about. Remember how you said they go, oh, it was in these days jobs were easier. This was, everybody romanticizes their era.
Yeah.
So I do that with horror. I go, oh, because the 80s was so gross and disgusting and vile and foul, and the 90s they tried to clean it up, and it was like Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Tremors, which Tremors is good, but it's still like it was all like safer,
Tremors
cleaner.
Is terrible. It's terrible.
Well, people really love the film.
It's a classic, but it's also, I remember, I think I've seen all 3 of those at least 20 times, because at the treatment center I worked at with youth, they just always wanted Tremors every single time.
Yeah, I like a lot of the disgusting shit too, like Joe D'Amato films. Joe D'Amato was an Italian filmmaker, and he made like Emmanuel in America, and it was like, Black Emmanuel series, that's a good one. That's a good franchise. They're disgusting, they're horrible, full of sex, filled with perversion, filled with terrible things, and Joe D'Amato was a king, that had... the ultimate exploitation film. A lot of times they say like offensive film, Sallow, or Serbian film, but there was something about Black Emmanuel, Emmanuel in America, where it was like anything you're not supposed to do happened in that movie. Anything, So
okay.
Your audience is like, all right, let's go back. Why don't you debate Palestine, motherfuckers?
I like all the campy franchises. So like Child's Play, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Master, like all of these types of
Elm Street,
Hellraiser.
Hellraiser, shout out to Ashley, the star. She's great. Yeah, I love Hellraiser 2. She likes Hellraiser better, but Hellraiser 2 is great. I love Hellraiser as well. But Hellraiser franchise, you only have the 2 good ones. You have 1 and 2. They were great, both of them.
I think for a lot of them, because they tried to bring back like Freddy Krueger. They were too serious. And then you've got like the crazy, like even for the Jason movies, you're like Jason X, like in space and crazy shit.
Well, as far if you want to talk about those, Chucky, I like 1 and 2. Friday the 13th, I like 1 a lot for what it was, even though it was just a copycat. But the music was great. The atmosphere was great. 2 was very good.
I think they're making a new Chucky movie.
I think so. I think you're right.
Where like the guy that created the puppets or something.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be something.
Yeah, but 3 I have in 3D. I show it to people at my house. The 3D Friday the 13th. Part 4 is the best one to me. Part 5 is the underrated one because it has the Scooby-Doo ending. Part 5, they take the mask off. It's not really Jason. It's the guy's father who fucking got killed. So everyone was so pissed it wasn't Jason.
Yeah.
But the rest of the movie was like sleazy, gory, fun. So I like Part 5. That's a sleeper.
Did you ever watch any of or enjoy any of like there's this genre of like gore horror? So like
Guinea Pig,
Hostel, Audition.
They call it torture porn. And
stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I like that stuff better. Like I said, the 90s, I hated. So in the 2000s, they started getting a little bit more brutal in the films you're talking about. They're not like classics. I don't love them, but I like them a lot more. And there were films in the 2000s like The Descent, which was really good, and it was quite a few good ones in that era. You know, even Hills Have Eyes remake, what they did with it, it was good. They were doing okay things in the 2000s. 1990s, what was it? The Carrie remake. Oh Jesus! The only good horror movies in the 90s. Well, Asia was doing crazy shit in the 90s, horror. But what'd they do? Misery was good. That was a good horror film in the 90s. You know.
Is there anything you're looking forward to right now? Like, are there any directors that you follow right now where you're excited for new stuff they release, or do you live in the 80s?
Well, I was excited to see the new. Yeah, I do. No.
I'm messing with you.
No, you can say that. I do. I'm stuck. It's not even the 80s. I'm stuck in the 1920s and silent era and the 1940s, 50s. I am stuck. I turned into that old guy that is a historian rather than looking forward to. Because like the Mad Max film, which is the one Fury Road, I was looking so forward to because The Road Warrior was like one of the greatest sequels ever, and it was one of the greatest action films, and it was a game changer. So I couldn't wait to see this. Oh, real stunts, and I couldn't stand it. I sat in the theater so I was like, that was me being stuck in my era. Yeah, I said, this is really it. This is what they're giving us, and then now they got a new Mad Max movie out. I'm not going to see that shit. So yeah, I am stuck in. That's not an insult to me.
Yeah. Why didn't you like the new one? I guess is it?
Well, because you know what, the original, because they have all these things that they put on a film, color corrections and different, you know. And the original looked like you put a camera down, you smash the car right next to the camera, just, you know, Road Warrior, not the original second one. And everything just felt like it was the real world to me, even though it was this otherworldly world. The new one, they said, oh, the stunts were real and this, but they put so much color correction and changing colors and CGI all over it. Even when the cars were flipping, it still felt fake to me. And also the plot, we're just driving there the whole movie, and then we're going to drive back, and 45 minutes in, I'm like, I hate to say this, but I don't care what happens in any of this movie. So I'm not saying it's a bad movie because people love it. Actually, Tom Hardy came to one of the fucking shows, and I didn't tell him I didn't like it, but
obviously, yeah.
He was backstage with us, and in London. Oh, was it London? It was one of the UK shows, and he said, "Oh, when we were doing Mad Max Fury Road, we were playing your music to get pumped up." And I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what he told me, you know. And I was like, "Yo, The Road Warrior is one of the greatest films ever made. The Road Warrior." And he was like, "Oh, fuck, man, I still." You, but like he got offended that I didn't go Fury Road, but
this was after Fury Road had already come
this was about a year ago.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wasn't trying to be. I just love Road Warrior, you know. So, but maybe
it was like we didn't actually play any of your music.
Maybe
we hate your shit. Actually,
maybe he got my energy that I wasn't a big fan of it or something. But that's no disrespect to anybody. I you know, people have taste in what they like. You know what I mean. There's
definitely like different rhythms, like subtly, whether you're talking film or music, where you can hear something, especially if you grew up in that era, and you can instantly identify like this doesn't feel right or it doesn't seem right, and you can tell immediately. I guess the era that a film came from.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think it's interesting too when you watch older films, immediately knowing that every single thing you see on screen is real and intentional. That when you're watching any of these Escape from LA, when you're watching these movies, like every set you see was built out, and there was a guy that was painting it and weathering props and like doing all this stuff. And nowadays, it's a guy like on the computer that's like drawing a thing, and it has a different feeling to it a little bit.
Yeah. But that's technology. Like everybody,
it's not necessarily bad. Yeah,
it's not. It's you got to adapt to it, you know. But I'll always take practical effects over CGI, obviously. But now you could do practical and add some CGI to make it a little better, and you know, technology improves things eventually. When it first comes out, sometimes it doesn't. Oh no, that's not true either. Take back what I said. But technology is what it is. You know, cartoonists, they used to draw the cartoon one at a time. Here, Mickey Mouse number 2, Mickey a little bit, you know, and that was real animation, and then they were able to put it on a thing, move the things around, and computers, and you know, everybody's gonna be, you know, hurt when the next technology comes out. Now it's AI, everybody's scared. Oh, they could make my voice sound like something, and that's technology, man. It is what it is. Back in the day, it was, you know, you used to have to sing. And then I think, what decade was it? Maybe the 80s or 90s, when they were able to kind of pitch you and
auto-tuning and stuff,
and really make you a singer, even if you're not a singer, and all of that stuff. So Technology is technology. It's going to do what it does. And people lose jobs when technology happens. You know, like AI, yes. I know cartoonists will hate me, but you're going to lose jobs. You are. And it sucks. And it's the same thing as Uber. Taxi drivers, they work their whole life to get that medallion so they could be the cab driver in the neighborhood and own their own medallion and drive their own taxi. And then Uber happens. You know, it's the same thing when we did the last film in 06. You know, they were selling 5,000 copies out of one record store and 5,000 in Japan. You could make up millions of dollars selling movies at the time from selling, you know, independently. And then a year later, they're streaming it online and this and that. And all of a sudden, the physical copies in the stores are closing and this and that. And people are out at work. It's part of technology. It is what it is. And other people get other jobs from it, though, you know, so... Yeah. So I see a lot of my peers especially, AI is going to be the end of society and death to the world. And they say that about talking TV. And it doesn't matter what the fuck. Talking pictures, the silent people would be like, they're destroying the world. It is what, you know. So.
Okay, I have to ask you about boxing. I'm so curious because I feel like, so my husband has gotten me into MMA. Because I had never even seen boxing at all. My parents would not let that in the house. And I feel like he's shown me a lot of like old school boxing, which I love. And then now I watch more like modern MMA. How do you feel about the change of boxing from like the old schools to what we're seeing now?
Well, it's the same fucking argument, you know, like when MMA came out, I was an old school pugilist fan and I was like, f this shit, you know, and you got to adapt to it. You got to go, no, it's a different sport. It's a different, but to my defense, when MMA first did come out, there wasn't as much skill because it was, you know, they'd bring a big fat samurai guy versus a boxer here, and this guy couldn't really fight. But it's such a popular thing, the whole world's doing it. So now tons of super next level skilled machines are in the game. So now, you know, you can't front on MMA. It's great, you know. But you know what I don't like in boxing is the damn steroids. And I'm sure that's happening in MMA as well. And this kid, Ryan Garcia, he came in 3 pounds overweight, and they said, okay, we'll fight anyway, which back in the day, you have to make weight, you know, and he didn't make weight, 3 pounds overweight. And then he beat the shit out of the guy. Oh, okay, he accepted the fight. That's cool. Don't accept the fight then. So, and then everybody defended him. And then it came out he had PEDs in his, you know, he had steroids in 2 different tests. And all these fuck boys on the internet are defending. Oh, it's a conspiracy because he was sitting next to Trump. They saying he has, you know, steroids in his blood. It's like the guy failed his 2 fucking tests. Can we get over the fanboy shit and be, you know, people's lives on the line? Like you're punching the fucking people in the head with enhanced, you know, yeah, it's disgusting. So I don't like all of that shit. And Canelo, you know, the biggest superstar in boxing, he was caught, you know, before the Triple G fights. Steroid in the system, or not a computer, but illegal substances, and they're cheating. And then, you know, they can kill somebody in there. So that's what I hate. And the thing I hate more is the people online that defend it. And it's the same thing as what they do is they defend horrible acts and think it's okay, and it's weird, man. Yeah, so. Does
it bother you, the kind of spectacle that all of the exhibition matches and everything now, especially with the Paul brothers, is like bringing to boxing in the terms of the types of fans and attention?
You know, at first I said, you know what? If the public is stupid enough to pay for it, let it go. And the Paul brothers, they aren't bad boxers, you know, but as professionals they are. They, you know, if you put them in the top 5 with a top 5 guy, they'd get decapitated. But if the public wants to pay for shit, it is what it is. But the thing I don't like now is that he's able to get like Anderson Silva in the ring, was 46 years old, and he could knock Anderson Silva down. And now on his record, he beat a legend. Right. And now he's fighting
Mike Tyson.
That's what it didn't happen yet. He's about to fight damn near 60-year-old Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, so these guys are senior citizens.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Almost. And
it's embarrassing, kind of.
And you're making millions of dollars punching a 58-year-old in the fucking head. So I don't like that about it, you know. So I couldn't imagine, you know. Well, now back in the day, they probably did terrible shit too. But yeah, I don't like that part of it. If he wants to fight people his own age or close to his age, 10 years apart or whatever, but bringing them out to retirement, they haven't been in the ring for 30 years, and let me fight you. I don't think that's good for the person.
Yeah.
You know, and then the Jake Paul guy. if Mike, you know, because Mike's not going to have stamina, you know, he's going to be able, if Mike could get him out of there in a round or two or whatever, you know, but if a Jake Paul gets a win off of a legend like that, then on YouTube, when the next generation Google Mike Tyson, can see this fucking guy, you know, oh, come on.
The guy from TikTok, the guy from Vine.
Yeah, so I don't like that part of it, you know, so, yeah. But people are paying for it, and grown men are agreeing to do it together, so what I can't say, you know, it's just not for me, you know. Yeah. So.
Well, damn.
You know what we haven't asked you about that I feel like is a necessary for this conversation?
What's that?
How do you feel like the Kendrick Drake? I mean, that's going off.
See,
like
but
crazy
this is gonna
right
go
now.
back. This is gonna go back to the.
You have a
are you stuck in the '80s? Yeah, motherfucker, I'm stuck in the '80s. Yeah, so you know.
Like I know you don't like the way that they diss and stuff.
We already addressed it actually in the beginning of the show where we said
like gossip.
Yeah, where we said it seems like, you know, gossip, get your team to find dirt on the other guy and put it in a lyric, and
so you don't care about any of it. Like you don't fall on either side.
I wasn't a fan of it. I listened to a couple of them and I wasn't. I don't know. I you know. They'll call me a hater or whatever, but I think everybody in my crew could out-rap the fuck out of them. You know, like I think I was just with Tragedy Gaddafi having dinner 2 days ago, like one of the greatest lyricists of all time, you know. Killer Priest, I'm with these guys that are like monster lyrical picture painters. Cool G Rap, you know, I'm doing videos with Cool G Rap. So when they go, oh, Kendrick and Drake, it's not something that impresses me. And I know the younger audience listening to this is going to be like, oh, bitter old. But it's not true. There's a lot of young MCs, when I hear them spit and I like them, I compliment them. I'll let them come out in my set. I'll let them rap. I'm not like that. I don't like that new style. I just feel like the whole world has attention on this battle that doesn't impress me that much. So if the world is enjoying it, it's a beautiful thing. Let you know, everybody have fun with it. But usually when I listen to a rap, I want to hear some stuff that threatens my pen, where I feel like, holy shit, how the f did he think? Yo, that shit is crazy. How did he think of that, you know? And how did he come up? And I don't get that from either side of that battle. So they're going to call that bitter old man talk, but that's 1,000%. When I listen to it, that's what is really going on in my head. It's not like out of a bad place, you know, like
it's just focus on the lyricism and the art over the content of like what was leaked.
Yeah, it's not. There's a couple clever. Oh, like, and the thing that was annoying though about the battle was like, because Kendrick, you know, has the machine behind him and all of this stuff, and he would get like write-ups. He'd have like a really mediocre lyric. Like, did you hear the lyric when he was like, is it a ghost or AI? Holly Joel Osmond or whatever. And I got the Sixth Sense. And they were like breaking down how deep this fucking bar was. And it went in my time. I said, is this an Onion article? Come on, guys. Like, yeah, he might have some deep bars, but guys, you're writing fucking write-ups about. And then I think he misnamed Holly Joel Osmond. And there's a guy, who did he misname? Yeah, but who's the other guy that he's...
Oh, he was talking.
He said the wrong name or whatever.
He was talking about
Jonathan Taylor.
No, that's not it. There's a guy. There's a preacher guy who had a name similar, and they were like, "It's a genius that he said the wrong name on it. It's because he's." I was like, guys, just come on, man. Like, keep it real with yourselves. You know, the fandom stuff is a little extra. Have
you ever gotten to a point where you read somebody trying to break down some of your lyrics and they're just like way too...
They always do that. You know, they'll be like, oh my, the worst one. I don't know, we're not allowed to say it or whatever, but Vinny Paz said in one of my songs, right? Mm-hmm. And his song was called Sam Peckinpah, which is this great filmmaker, you know? And I read their breakdown. It was like, he said that because there was sexual undertones between the two actors in this film. I was like, dude, he was just being an ignorant asshole saying that on the fucking song. It had nothing to do with the sexual undertones in the, I forgot which film they said it was, but yeah. So, you know, but there's tons of those. When I read what they say my lines mean, sometimes it's good. I'm like, yeah, let them believe. Yeah, I was a genius. I thought of that.
Have you heard of the website Rap Genius?
Yeah, that's the one.
Crazy. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you follow or have you followed any of the P. Diddy stuff?
I'm not too up on it, but I know Diddy personally for a lot of years. I know him back in the day. You know, I wasn't close with him. I was friends with Biggie. I was, you know, me and Biggie would be on the phone for hours. So I'm not really paying, you know, I don't, the gossip stuff. I see a headline, this and that. So if I defend Diddy, somebody might go, oh, you're defending this guy, but this and that. I don't really know the behind the scenes.
I don't even care about the P. Diddy stuff. There's, in the political world, there's a very big desire, as up as it sounds, to finally uncover the secret pedophile ring, or like the crazy prostitution scandal, or the crazy, like, somebody's controlling people for blackmail. And that has bled over a little bit into political or social political people that also analyze, like, some of the culture world, like the rap world. And you've had Dave Chappelle has said stuff. Cat Williams obviously came out and he had his whole take on, you know, this is why they try to get these black actors to dress up as women. Or you've got people that go to parties and they make you fuck a kid or a guy and they blackmail you with the video footage. Do you now? I guess if you were part of these blackmail circles, you wouldn't say it. But what is your feeling on, like, do you ever have those feelings? Do you see people talk about things like? Do you feel like there are these parties where people go out and they try to, like, get footage to blackmail you, and there's a whole bunch of, like, keepers of secrets in the rap world or the celebrity world?
Well, I'm sure stuff like that happens in the world, you know. But when I was a kid, you know, 17, 18 years old, I would go to those parties, and you know, it was something. The older generation was coming from the hippie generation, and I think it was, you know, wild sex, drugs, rock and roll, and it was more. I saw more of that, where I didn't see Baphomet goats, and I'm not saying nothing doesn't exist. It does exist, you know what I mean. But I saw wild record executives doing wild stuff and this and that, and but I didn't see criminal stuff at the time, you know. But you know.
It feels like sometimes there's, like, edgy shit for edgy shit. Like you brought up, like, the Doja Cat stuff. You brought up, like, some of the satanic imagery, and in the outside, I don't know if that happens as much in the rap world, but outside of the rap world, when people analyze that, they're on some crazy, like, this was the satanic shit that they're trying to reference in, like, this book and this passage and blah blah blah. And like sometimes I feel like artists do it because they're edgy. They're like, I know this will piss you off.
The one thing that is real though is you know, the casting couch. You know, like you know. You fuck this guy, you know, this guy fucks this guy, this girl fucks that guy. That was real. Do
you think it's as bad today as it used to be?
Yeah, I think so. Well, you know what? Maybe the internet did, you know, save that a little bit, because now you could run and tell. So maybe that was a good thing. But yeah, that was definitely like, hey, here's a situation, you know, and what do you want here? There, boom. So that was real. Casting couch has been real since the beginning of entertainment world, and that was, you know. Male or female, it's like people were laying down for to get what they wanted, you know. So that was real. Yeah. You know,
having gone through this world in rap, entertainment, film, do you think you would be happy if either of your children wanted to carve a similar path, or would you kind of like try to push them away from it, or?
Well, you know, they're actually performing with me at every show, you know, that they're at. You know, like if you go, I don't know if you follow my socials, but like my kids rock the mic. They're doing, you know, choruses for me. They're getting the crowd hype. Like my daughter was on a stage with me since she was like way too young, actually. So one time I was supposed to get a babysitter in Toronto, and my guy was, oh, I can't. I said, yo, I got a show. You said you. So I found some babysitters on Twitter, and then she was backstage with fucking strangers at like a year and a half, 2 years. I don't remember how old. No, probably a year and a half old. And the girl made a lot of Marx Brothers jokes. So I said, hey, you're funny. You're in Toronto. You want to watch my kids? She's like, yeah, I'll be on a date with a soldier. I said, oh, cool. So she came and was watching my kid, and she said, Daddy. So okay, So I'm sitting on stage, and I had my daughter on the stage with me and my son on the stage at the Rocksteady 40th anniversary. Like, and now they rock. They'll come to the show like, yeah, put your hands in the air, and, you know. And my son will break dance. He'll start freestyling and do the hook. My daughter do the choruses. So they already rock with me. If they want to do the entertainment side of it, it's all love, you know. But yeah, and I would be in their corner to whatever they decide to do. You know, actually, my son wants to box now, and that scares me more than the entertainment industry, because I would love for him to box amateur and get in good shape and know how to fight. But like I said, you see, you know, the older generation that I know, and they're talking slower, their speech is slurred, so they're giving up parts of their brain to do that. So I kind of was like, damn, I hope he doesn't, because he's obsessed with it right now. But, you know, he's 7, so, you know, he could grow out of that. But, like, I hope he doesn't get bit by that bug, and that's his life goal, you know, because, you know, your son getting punched in the head every day of his life, it's not an easy job, you know. So,
is there things that like you would advise your kids if they're getting into the entertainment, or even for young artists? Because I know you've made a living being an independent rapper, which I imagine there's tons and tons of young artists that look at that and go, how do you do that? So would there be like advice that you would give your kids or like young artists?
Well, also back to what you were saying about is it different today? There is a difference today too, because what is safer now is before you needed a record label. You couldn't do it independently. It was impossible unless you had somebody with a ton of money. A kid couldn't just get a record, put something on the internet. Look at Lil Nas X, the Old Town Road shit. Like, that couldn't happen.
Do this shit in your bedroom, literally. You have a full studio with Pro Tools. You can record and clean the audio.
And made a catchier chorus than whatever pop group has 13 writers sitting there making the greatest chorus of all. No, this little kid in his room made what it was number one for like 20 weeks, beat the Beatles, beat everybody. So that you couldn't do that back in the day. You would have to sit there and shop it and sign a deal, so they would press the records up, the posters, get it played on the radio. So record labels had so much power back then. So like if they say, hey, come see me and you get this record deal, people will quick, oh shit. Now it's like, fuck you, I'm gonna put it on the internet. I'm gonna do my own song, so I think record labels have less power now. But there's also still big corporations that, hey, we're going to take you here. That still exists too. But I don't think as many people get the opportunity to meet that group as, the record executives back in the days. And also, take a little bit of it with a grain of salt if you're talking about modern times, because I'm out of touch now. I'm a daddy living in Berlin, Germany. I could tell you my experiences from the 80s, 90s, 2000s, some of the 2010s, but so me talking about how the industry is today, there might be somebody watching this like, yo, do you know what the fuck I just seen for the last 6 years of my life? And I'm sitting in Germany like, it's not, you're safe. so don't, you're talking to a guy that's not in that world right now. So, yeah.
The world, all of entertainment has gotten a lot more, I don't know if you'd say like talent focused or creator focused, but like there's a lot more control in the hands of the actual people that are doing the art. Like whether we're talking OnlyFans versus working in a club or working for a major porn studio, or whether you're talking musicians now that can push publish and then have like ad revenue and everything coming in. It's funny because people will complain about some of the platforms like Spotify only pays me this much or whatever only pays me this much. But back in, 80s, 90s when you're signing artists, you might have a record company making easy like 7-8 figures on a particular thing, and because you've got a kid who doesn't know any better, you cut him a check for $15,000 and he thinks he's on top of the world. Meanwhile, he's getting absolutely destroyed in terms of how much money he's actually worth, but he has no idea, and there's no way to measure.
Well, you know what the deals were back then? It was that you would get, say you got a good deal, that'd be 12%. You give 3% to your producer, and you'd get, say, 9%, is 10%, 8%, whatever. Or another deal would get 6.5%. That's more, yeah. Crazy. Okay, and you got to pay your producer out of that, whatever. So say 10%. All right, you get 10%. But now say the label spends $2 million on you, gives you videos, promotes the shit out of you, got you. What happens is you don't make money till you recoup that $2 million out of your 10%. So they're already doubling, tripling, making their money back so many times over, but you haven't recouped $2 million out of 10% of the thing. So that's how they were getting everybody.
There's also a lot of clever schemes. It's funny because you brought up the thing with the lawyer and how you kind of got fucked in your first signing. There's a lot of ways that people can scrape money off of what you're owed without you even necessarily being aware of it. Like you might think that like, oh, okay, I've got $10,000 and you want a 10% cut, that's fine. And they're like, well, I want a 30% cut. It's like, well, no, we'll do 10%. It's like, okay. But like the fees before it even hits you, it might be, it already might be divided up from the company. There's so many different like schemes where people will cut stuff away and you don't even know. Or they might be like double skimming and you don't know because you might get a check cut from a company and they take 10% as like the person that made the deal, and then they'll take another 10% as your representation, and then by the time you get a check you don't even know where the money's disappeared from.
And the record, it didn't seem like the real world that normal people could get record deals or be involved in that world. That seemed like an otherworldly thing back then. So that's another thing that's good about today, because now it feels like, hey, we could all do it. That's taking, the more power we get, the less power they get over people. So that's another good thing about it. But then the downside to that is you get so much trash as well, like the worst fucking artists in the history of time, and you hear them and you got to deal with that. Back in the day, that demo would be thrown in a box somewhere, and no way in the world to hear. But through, like I said, through all the trash, them gems pop up. So it is a blessing.
There's also a bit of a bias in that, like there was a lot of trash in every era, but you don't remember that, right? Like nobody knows who was a bad composer next to Beethoven or Mozart because we don't talk about those people. And then same thing in the past. Yeah, like, there was a lot of shit on the radio that wasn't the Eagles or Journey, but those are the ones that made it, so you remember it. And then today you can sift through everything, and it's like, yeah,
but now there's bigger platforms
to get published on.
That's
what
I'm saying.
Yeah.
That, you know,
in your era it was a tape in the trash can. In this era, it's a SoundCloud with like 50 plays
or like TikTok like trending and stuff. Yeah. It's really interesting because it feels like there's a lot more like grassroots opportunities, like you're talking about. I don't know if you've seen like the trend right now where a whole bunch of people are like blocking and unfollowing celebs like across the board.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah, there's this huge trend about it right now. And in fairness, I think most of it's over Palestine, but I think a fair bit of it that snowballed from it is just being like, you know what, like none of these people, we like give them all of our time and our money and they don't care about us and they don't like represent, like why are we doing this? So there's like this huge push again for like grassroots artists and stuff. But do you see like, if you see like a young guy who does well on like SoundCloud or YouTube or something like that, can he transition that career to something like touring pretty simply? Or is there kind of a leap that they have to make to get tours going off and a more stabilized career that's less content and putting out content as quickly as possible?
See, it's hard for me to say that because when you have the old veteran history, it's easier for me because I have that whole history. I think there could be like super talented people who could make like a really great album and doesn't have any touring experience, and it's harder for them to get on the road. And you know, sometimes if they have like a really popular YouTube song or something or a SoundCloud song, they feel like, oh, I should get this much per show, but they don't have an audience on the road yet. So I'm not living their lives, and I'm not managing any young artists at the moment. So I really can't really address to you know what's crazy though. Can I blow up your spot a little bit? You don't mind, right?
No,
somebody said I forgot who the fuck it was because on your show. Somebody said, oh, that guy Destiny has like a stable of a bunch of girls and they all do this. And so when you hit me, I was, oh, that must be the stable girl. And then you're like, I'm married. So I'm like, oh, she's not a stable. So is there any truth to that? Or is that where the fuck did they get that from?
It's a long story.
And then you came in with your hair all fucked up. I'm like, that's the guy with the stable of the girl.
It's a long story. She's a stable girl because she has horses. Okay, that's what I mean, okay? She's a horse person.
I was like, oh yeah, the girl. Some young girl hit me up. I guess that's part of it. I didn't know, you know. So, didn't mean to get sexist on you. Like, are you the stable?
Can you do when you manage tours? Do individual independent people normally do that? Do you have to go through a label, or what is that process?
No, tours is a totally different thing. You know,
not related
in fact, now you know somebody can contact the venues themselves. You know, say, hey, you know, this is me. Would you want to book it? I don't recommend that, but you get someone else to. A lot of times, fans will say, hey, I'm going to start my own booking company and contact all these artists. And this is dangerous because they're fans and they'll hit you up and say, hey, I'll get you 20 shows in all these markets. And they start making all the calls, but they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So then when you go on a tour, you're like, oh my God, this tour is a fucking mess. But
they also fucking lie. Have you had people lie about who they've gotten booked to? Where people will reach out to like 3 or 4 or 5 different big artists and it's like, oh, I've confirmed this guy and this guy and this guy to try to get you to confirm to see if you.
Oh yeah, that's been done before. Oh, I'm working on his tour, and these are the 4 people on the tour, and this and that.
I've had people do this to me in the debate world where they're like, we've got like these 3 or 4 huge guys like lined up, and then like a month before, and because I'm a idiot, I guess, a month before, over and over again, they'd be like, oh shit, like these 3 guys couldn't make it, and then I start to realize, like, hold on. Because then I'll start to like email a couple larger people, like, have you heard about this? David Pakman's a guy who like I can talk to, and he'll be like, oh yeah, no, like I turned that down like 4 months ago. And I'm like, this is just like trying to bait me in with whatever.
The Pakman guy, he's a musician too.
No, another political guy. Yeah.
No, I know who he is, but what do you say?
Oh, because it started to be where I would email a couple people that I would know, and I'll be like, hey, did you confirm this thing? Because I got a guy emailing me saying that you're going to be at this event, and they'll be like, I saw this a while ago, and I'm not doing it. And then I realized that people are just lying. They just say that shit to get you to sign up, and then they'll see how many people hang on by the end before the show happens. Yeah.
Are there any? Who do you hate in the YouTube world? Let's
everybody.
Start. Yeah, you hate every one of them.
Yeah, but I do politics, so we all. And I'm not like on a
Nobody's
team.
friends.
So yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, you're independent artist, and sometimes for the independent artist, you have to shit on everybody with a record label. I'm like a non-partisan guy, so I have to shit on everybody who I feel is partisan and blah blah blah. It's all that dumb shit. Yeah.
I think Mark Lamont Hill. I seen you guys doing something. You know, I take more his stance than yours, though. You know, so I'm not gonna debate you on it.
We can't all be perfect. It's all
you
good.
guys, you guys already did your debate. There's nothing I could say that he didn't already say. Nothing you didn't already say. So yeah.
Do you feel like today? Do you feel like people pressure artists more to take like political stances than they used to, or do you think it's about the same as it always has been? Or
I don't know, but yeah, sometimes if you don't say nothing, you get like, what the. You know, you could be like, hey, my daughter's birthday. Be like, what the you didn't tell you about this? I said my daughter's birthday, motherfucker. You know, but you didn't talk about this. You know, so you know, you'd be like, yeah, maybe listen to the song I wrote that's not out yet, or maybe this and that. You know, or shut the fuck up because you know I'm my own person. I could say what the hell I would talk about, what I feel like talking about. You know, so and I also think. The pressure to say, hey, I have to talk about this subject right now because everybody in the world's talking about it. If I don't put my foot in it, I think that's ignorant too because maybe you don't have the right thing to say at the moment. Maybe you're thinking and maybe you're sad about it. Maybe it's not moving you correctly and you think something's wrong. But, you know, to articulate the feeling and what the fuck you think it needs to be, you don't always have the right words. You know, you want to sit back, let me, you know, I'll watch the world. I don't need to always, I'm an expert on this and I'm going to tell you what the fuck it is. You know, come on, man, you know, so, yeah. I mean, you get paid to do that. That's podcasters. You got to give your little positions and tell the world how you feel. But not everybody has to do that. I'm not a podcaster.
It's an odd requirement to have like your favorite celebs or actors or singers or artists like weigh in on political topics, you know?
You said slabs of actors. It sounds like a horror movie.
Did I say slabs?
She said celebs. She said slabs.
Oh,
but slab sounds funnier, so I'll let you roll with it.
I was like,
slabs of actors.
Oh, slabs of actors. I was like, what is Motel Hell, like on hooks and...
Yeah, we flay them first and say, be on my side, free Palestine, or whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah.
There's got to feel... There's no pressure, though, because I feel like the guy where, like, I can imagine being the last... like fucking performance on a set or some shit and like 5 acts before you were like we stand with XYZ people and then you come on stage and you're like okay well I'm just here to perform. You don't feel any kind of pressure I guess?
No, I don't feel any pressure at all and if I feel it like you know I'll just blurt it out and you know when my emotion's up I'm ready and I do it. You know I stand by what I stand by, you know, on whatever the topic is. I won't be like, well, if I say it though, you know, I don't do all of that shit.
When you do shows and stuff, what do you think is like your average like audience age? Is it mainly like younger people? Is it like?
You know what's funny? It's all different ages. That's the crazy thing. And you know how I know how old they are, but not just by looking at them. It's the songs. Hey, yo, I love this song. That's your best song. And I'm like, oh, that's one of my worst songs. But you must be 42 years old, right? Like, how'd you know? I'm like, I'm 43. Yeah, because that's the song you like for me.
Yeah.
But it's the greatest song, and you did a song with my favorite artist. Oh, you must be 18 because that's the young boy artist I did the song with. You know, so a lot of times I could tell the age by the songs they picked from me. You know, why didn't you do this song off of that? Oh, okay, you're 36. I got
okay, that's funny. It's the same thing for me. Someone will come up to me and they'll quote some shit. It's like, I love this fucking video you did with this. It's like, it was in 2012, which for me is a long time ago for internet age, yeah. Or somebody's like, oh, your best debate or performance was against like this guy. And it's like, but I can't believe you said this. And it's like, I've said so much worse like 3 years ago. Like, you must be like a newer fan or, yeah.
Who was the most famous person you interviewed or debated or whatever? Probably all of the debate me guys, right?
Probably, I think in the past 6 months, it'll be like all of your like Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens, like these people, yeah.
Yeah, because I Googled this morning before I left, but I said, I don't have time to listen to it. But I seen Jordan was on there. And who else I saw? Oh, didn't you, Cenk? You did Cenk, right?
Cenk Uygur a few times, yeah.
Yeah, that's the ones I saw. I didn't see the clips, but I saw the box with the debate. No. And I watched the Mark Lamont Hill one. I think Mark is genius. I think he's a genius, but he gets a bad rap because he takes the side of, you know, that one clip that they used with him and Candace about transgender people could get pregnant or whatever. You know, I don't know what, you know, the argument.
I haven't seen that one. The like funniest clip I've seen of him was the one.
There's an argument that can men get pregnant, and like he did like a political answer saying yes, technically because of this and that. So then anytime you say, hey, Mark's a smart guy, they're like, but he thinks men can be pregnant, and you know, you get one clip and they'll base everything on that clip and tell you he must be stupid. I'm like, yo, you know how many books that motherfucker read? You know how much research that guy does? You know, so.
What do you think?
I don't think he's a genius. I take that back too. I think he's a very
he's a smart dude,
very smart, educated person. Yeah, some of it I seen him talk hip hop and you know I disagreed with a couple things, you know, but yeah. So
what do you think? Like from your perspective of the political world? I'd be so curious because you kind of are like somewhat like you're in the industry of creatives, but you're obviously on the outside of the political world. Like, what are your thoughts watching that dynamic?
Well, I'm just a human being too, so I watch like everybody else, and you get lost in where you don't, because you got to understand. I grew up, soldier father, Long Island. Guns, Bibles, Christian. So, but then my whole music was rebellious, fuck, kill, say the worst shit possible. So it was like this mixed, it didn't make sense, And then, you start going, well, now which side doesn't like God? And you start going, oh, the lefties don't like God, the righties like God. And then you go, so you're getting through the years of brainwashing, and then you go, oh, free speech. The right put that whole fake free speech narrative out there, that they're the party of free speech, and then you listen to them, and the lefties were going far. They were going very far with speech. Oh, this book should be rewritten from this time because it said a bad word in 1903, and you go, no, you don't rewrite books. Right. You don't fucking do that. So now you go, oh, the righties kind of, are they the free? But then you see, no, you give the righties power, and everything is, no, ban the book. This book is too... and then the trick they do is what's the Gender Queer? Do you know that book, Gender Queer?
Is that the one that Tim Pool talks about?
It's the one book that everybody pulls out.
Yes.
If you start arguing, they probably bought more copies of this than every school could buy because they all have like a pocket
Why
version.
Did Tim Pool do that too?
I think he had the book on the show, so he's like, well, tell me what you feel about this passage, and they've got like fucking highlighted things, and it's like, Jesus Christ.
What's the girl?
You see like the cum stains on the cover where they've been reading it every night. My God.
Who was the crazy lefty versus the crazy righty? I saw Chaya lives a TikTok versus the girl who
Taylor Lorenz.
Yeah. So she did that. She pulled out the book.
Yep.
And it's one book. It's called Gender Queer, and I think they have it in the 8th grade in a couple schools. So yeah, maybe that's something you should talk about, because there is a picture of a gay child, gay person, gay teenager doing, But then you talk about, they're banning this book. There's 400 other books that are taken out of the school. Well, it's not banned. Yes. If you will legally get in trouble for putting the books up, it's banned from that school, whether it's back in or not, whenever it is, it's banned. So then they say, well, then that's the book. Tim Pool did do it, because who's the girl with Sam Cedar?
Emma Vigeland.
Emma Vigeland.
Yeah.
He pulled out that book, and she's like, I don't think they should ban books. She's like, you're a pedophile. She called the girl, she called this, like this nice, whether you like, I don't know if you like her or hate her, but she's like, seems like a nice, normal fucking person, educates herself, and she literally called her a pedophile to all her fucking fans.
He's probably not a pedophile, yeah.
And I was like, that woman's, how the fuck? So yeah, I think he did the same thing to Taylor Lorenz, Taylor Lorenz?
Taylor Lorenz and Libs of TikTok.
Yeah, the Libs of TikTok book, this is the book, and they, so it's what people do. They take one thing that they can use, and then they fucking say that's the whole basis, Yep. Meanwhile, look at the other books that are banned, books about black folks. And last time I was in Florida, I bought a whole bunch of black books that were taken out of certain libraries, and I handed them out to my shows. Yeah, we're in Florida. Take these free books, learn how to read, kids. But if you bring up those books and say, what's wrong with this actual book? What's wrong with this book? They'll go, they took Mouse out of a school, the Holocaust book. It's like, but if you show them real stuff that shouldn't be banned from books, about gender queer. It's like, that's not the argument, like. Also,
the whole concept is just, it's funny for two reasons too. One is because like every device on the planet right now has internet. Okay, your kid can find pornography like on your refrigerator. So the idea that they're going to go to a school library in a book to like read through pages to like get edgy material
to see
like
gender queer.
Yeah. And then two is also like growing up, like there's this very weird, I guess it depends on your perspective, but right now there's like a very fragile view of kids where it's like if they see one porn video, they see one thing, like it's over. This kid's mind is going to be destroyed. And then when we were growing up, like you'd scour the internet like looking for the most up stupid shit, and it's like we all grew up and we made it out.
They didn't have the internet when I was
No, but we had the era right after it was where all the parents were coming from, where they were like, we need to do better with our children, blah blah blah, and then they grew up like going to Woodstock and shit, and it's like, you motherfuckers are acting like you never smoked marijuana before or did way more, but if we like touch one joint, our fucking you're gonna fall off, and like, yeah, and it's so. I'm glad this hasn't happened to me yet. I don't know if you had this feeling where sometimes I look at parents, even my own parents, and I'll think that like, is there something that happens when you either have a kid or you turn like 30 or 40, where you every single thing you remember from being a kid gets flushed from your brain? Because how could you be so naive when dealing with children? And
we didn't have the internet, but we had our parents' closets. So there'd be Penthouse magazines. I remember my sister stole Playgirls, so she had like guys with cocks she found in somebody's closet. My friend from his dad's thing found Penthouse and Playboys, and when Madonna was naked in it's the 80s, so Madonna was naked, I don't know, Penthouse, they found old pictures of her. So I got the Madonna naked in the Penthouse, you know. So we found out, and I'm like, oh, she's gross, you know, because you know, she didn't look like the Penthouse girls, you know. So we thought Madonna, the biggest star in the world, you know. I remember being a little kid, like, this is disappointing. I thought she was the hottest girl. She's famous, but yeah. So no, we had porn, you know, all over, and VHS tapes out of people's closet. We find the porn in someone's closet. Parents aren't home. You're watching porn on. You're like, all right, you know. So
then you get caught leaving it in the VCR. Then you have that awkward moment where mom is looking at either the son or the dad, and she doesn't know who she's about to scream at.
I'll tell you the most awkward moment when I first go. Should we talk gross shit? Because you know, I forgot what age I was, maybe 11, 12, whatever age you start jacking off, right? So, you know, I had that damn sock, the famous cum sock. You know, everybody had that, or maybe not everybody, but, you know, every night I wipe it off, put it behind the bed every night, and it was all stuck together and disgusting. And I came home and the thing was gone. My stepmother cleaned my room. I'm like, oh, she found the fucking sock. I'm not only going to hell, my stepmother thinks I'm a pervert. She found a fucking gross sticky sock. You know? So I never asked her about it.
She never brought it up?
That was traumatizing for me.
No way would she bring it up. No.
I was like, damn, she found a cum sock.
Yeah.
That's so
political conversations at its best.
Yeah.
I guess. Is there anything else that you're working on? You got the movie coming up. Is that kind of like your main muse right now? Anything else that people should
the
check
movie
into?
is all I can think about till I shoot it, and then after that, I want to finish the album. You know, and the album's basically done. I just want to get some features on it, because that's another thing. When you're an independent artist, it's very important. Well, at least for me. Because I don't have much promo, you know. So like I said, so when you get other artists to come work on a song. So, you know, me and Killer Mike been talking about doing something forever. So, like, if, say, I do a record with Killer Mike and it's a banger, and then he's posting about it, you know, and then a video, you know, that his fans are coming to it, it really helps an independent project. And then, like, Logic, we did a song, but he wants to use it on his album, but it was supposed to be on my album. But, yeah, so then, say, me and Logic do a visual. The features really help, and then you get other fans come in, and it raises awareness for the project, because all known artists are tweeting about it and talking about it or whatever. So I'd like to get a couple, and also I got my throwback classic features on there too. But you know, you want to get a couple people kind of doing what they're doing now as well on there, you know. So the features, once the features are done, the album's done, you know. So yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
we're moving
off.
One more precise thing. When you get features for albums, how much input for songs? How much input do you have? Like, when you throw a song to a guy and you're like, I want a feature, do you give them direction? You're like, I want it to be about this. Do you get bars back, or you get a recording back or track back, and you're like, this isn't it, I need something different? Like, how much input do you want to have over that without it like overstepping? Or
it depends what it is. Like, if I do a song with an artist and I'm kind of going into their realm and I'm using a production that I feel is more their circus, their world, sometimes I say, hey, let's see what you got on there, and then I'll follow their lead. Okay. But sometimes if I have a song that I really love and I go, oh shit, you know who would write an amazing thing to that topic? Usually one of us gives each other the verse first. In this era, back in the day, it would be what you said. We'd say, hey, you know, let's go in the studio, let's do this topic or this thing. And I had one story song I wanted to do, and I gave it to the couple other artists that I'm working on, and that none of us wrote anything. But I guess it's different every year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And it works differently. Any last questions from you or thoughts?
Nah, this was peaceful. I you know, because I seen you talking around people. I was like, oh, what subject he's going to come at me about? So you was all peaceful, you know. So
he didn't set you up, even though I gave you the wrong number. He was like,
no, it's so funny that like every single thing you say, there's so much overlap. It's probably true of like every, like the whole world of talent. Like I bet actors coming up have the same experiences. People on YouTube and everything have the same experiences of like, you start off, you've got ideas, you want to be true to yourself, but you also are like angsty. You fight with people, you go through shitty representation, you grow, you learn, you try to like I'm sure you've got stories of people that you came up with that you wanted to continue working with who didn't have the same talent or make it with you, that you had to like cut ties with because it just wasn't the right fit for them. And just, the whole journey is there's a lot of parallels between like every other world.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people you do a lot of stuff for, and then they don't appreciate it. You know,
the falling off as soon as you find out like who your friends are, as soon as you're not doing as well, and then you look around, you're like, holy shit. And then when you come back, you never look at it quite the same again because you're like, motherfucker, you're talking to me because I just sold XYZ albums or Yeah,
that never ends. That never ends. Well, the funny thing is that because my career longevity lasted longer, I've seen that a lot because a lot of the people that I was doing better than when I lost my deal and situation, and they ended up getting big hit songs on the radio, and they wanted me on their records before, and then all of a sudden they're not calling me, and they're listening to their label to not work with all of this stuff, and then a couple decades later, they see I'm all over the world, millions of views still, and they'd be like, hey, we should do an EP together. We should do this. I said, motherfucker, when you was like at the height of your shit, you wouldn't even talk to me, motherfucker. And
is it's all the same shit. There's people you're blowing up, and like people are like, oh, we should collab. You call it a feature, we call it collabs in the YouTube world. You should be on my video. We should do this, blah blah blah. And then when you're kind of down, and you message me like, do you want to like collab or do anything? And you don't even get a response. You're just ghosted. But then if you come up later, those old messages, to be like, oh my god, I missed this. Like we should like get together and like chat. And like, do you still record? And it's like, yeah, it's funny. It's fun.
The other thing that happens too is some of the younger artists, they know that I'm better known than them, so they'll want to do something. Yo, we got to do something, legend. Yo, legend. 50 million times, legend. Yeah, the legend. And then they start doing good, and it's like, yo, what's up with? I thought we were supposed to do that record.
Old news.
Silence.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
And then but then their reign is short, and it's a 3-year reign, and they hit me. Hey, what's up, OG? What's up, legend? Oh, I'm a legend again. It's like so fucking predictable.
How do you guys manage that then? Like, how do you essentially, especially when you're coming up again, how do you figure out like who's your friend, who's just there to like?
I don't have friends. Your growth? I don't really have friends.
You got kids.
That's how you go. Yeah,
I got my kids.
When your expectations are low, nobody.
No, you know who are my friends is there's I think my OG, people in the game that's been in it as long as me and been through the same roads as me, and like I said, we're just having dinner with Tragedy the other day, and I don't know if you're familiar with Tragedy. But Tragedy, have you heard of Mobb Deep and Nas? You know who those guys are. So Tragedy was the architect of all of that, the whole Queensbridge sound, and they all looked up to him too, and he's one of the greatest lyricists that ever lived. And having dinner with Traj and with just like this Black Poet from Queensbridge as well, with Poet. It's like these are more like my family, the people who kind of been through the ropes like me, and we kind of all seen it, So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, should I do sponsorship?
Oh yeah, do your shout outs.
Remember to do that.
Go for it. Yeah.
So if you guys are watching, if you enjoy what we're doing, make sure you like and subscribe. I see that we have like a pretty low subscriber to watch ratio. So if you're watching regularly, just sub. It helps us out.
Oh, wait.
Sorry, you missed it.
I did.
Right,
in the end.
Yeah.
Yo,
you wanted to do the
we
call.
Do something? Yeah. Yo, she gave me the wrong number.
Uh-oh.
That's true. I've given 5 people the wrong number, and it goes to some like random white dude,
like a crazy guy. He's like, he's like, what's up, Yankee? And I thought it was you. I was like, is that the guy's voice? Is this a prank?
So how many people like? I imagine Chris Cappy probably called that number.
Can they hear that?
You got to put it right into the mic, the speaker part. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Are you selling me something?
Oh, no.
No, it's me. Remember? I was looking for the radio show.
Well, you got the wrong number again.
Who is this?
I'm in Florida.
Florida? What is that place?
That's way away from you Yankees.
I heard that they shoot whoever they want there, and it's weird. They ban books.
I shot 3 people this morning.
And they banned books there, and it's like a really terrible place.
Oh no, they don't ban all the books. We got Playboy down here.
Hey, we were just I got the wrong number. The girl gave me the wrong number, so much love, all right? I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. See you, man.
All right. That's Kyla's number.
Wait, no shot. Wait,
I put that on the invites by accident.
we need to get this guy on the show. That guy sounds funny as fuck. What the fuck?
I'll call him tonight, okay? I'll be like, yo, bro, I don't know how many people have called you at this point. It's my fault.
Christ.
We'll give you a.
That's why I thought it was.
You thought I was pranking you.
Yeah.
The Staber girl gave you some random
much
dude.
More friendly because I guess he heard in my voice that he was like in on a joke with us. But
he was way less nice the first time, right?
The first time he was like, "What y'all Yankees want?" Like I was like, "Oh shit!"
So he thought I was pranking him.
Yeah, I was like, "Yo, what the fuck podcast is this? They give me the wrong number with some weird, crazy Florida guy." I don't believe Florida. I don't believe the shit I was saying. I was just trying to. I was hoping he would go crazy or something.
Okay.
Mortifying.
Yeah, there you go.
Ground news and Skillshare. What do we got? Yeah.
We're supported by Ground News. If you guys want some balanced news, gives you the bias, the company that supports it and funds it, the level of factuality, check Ground News. We've got a great little subscription there. It's in the description. I'm not going to read it out. We're also supported by Skillshare, where you can basically sign up for $10 a month and get access to a whole bunch of different artists and stuff to learn from every month for free. Are you on Skillshare yet?
I'm about to be.
What are you going to teach people?
We're going to learn how to be rappers. We're doing on Skillshare.
You ready?
Yeah, I am ready.
What's your rapper name going to be?
I don't know, but it's going to be.
You already got one.
That's true.
True, yeah.
You got the rap name.
God, what a horrible. You know how many people in the comments were confused when it was Destiny versus Candace Owens, and they opened the video, and there's the black woman, the Destiny, and then the white guy. That must be Yeah, Jesus. What a stupid. Anyway, join us for next episode. We've got Barack Obama coming on. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be so. And the guy we just called. They're both
and
coming
that guy,
on.
Yeah, to chat with each other and settle America's differences. So, thanks for joining us. Thanks a lot for joining us. It's been I had no idea what this conversation was going to look like.
And he didn't read the script, so he had literally
I read enough. Okay.
But I was excited. I knew it was going to be good.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah. And then one final thing: where can people find you? What do you want people to follow you the most? YouTube, Twitter, what? Instagram, what?
Oh, you know what? Actually, if you want to invest in my movie, RA the Rugged Movie at gmail.com. Hit me up and invest in my film Suicide Disco. I have a real email, and so my producer's gonna be mad at me that I didn't give that one, but I don't know it. The one I know is RA the Rugged Movie at gmail.com. I have a professional email, but hit that one up. And if you want to go to the socials, I guess just RA the Rugged Man on everything, IG, or maybe RA the Rugged Man Official, and Twitter and Facebook, all that, YouTube. I got to get TikTok going, but I'm not really, not my generation. I'm trying my best.
Do pranks with your daughter or something on it.
Yeah, I'm already on there with her, but, so.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot for joining us, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Cool.
The news is divided. Ground News puts it back together with coverage from thousands of outlets around the world in one place. So you can spot sensational reporting, no matter what side of the political spectrum you're on. Beside every headline, you'll see who owns the source, how reliable it is, and if they have a political bias. Multiple perspectives side by side, giving you a well-rounded view of today's biggest stories. Visit ground.news to learn more.